Greetings, this is Three Drunks on a Tangent, and we have Chris, Martin, and we have Sky filling in for Eric today. So our most fiery debater will not be here, but we'll try to fill in the void without him. And right, today we're going to discuss the Agatha All Along. We've seen the first 3 episodes, and overall we're just going to give just a quick general overview how we feel about everything so far, and then we'll break things down, what we like, what we don't like after that here. So let's start with you, Sky. How are you feeling about the first 3 episodes? What are you liking?
The first one I wasn't a huge fan of. It was a little gimmicky in my books about certain things, but as I kept going, by the time I finished episode 3, I was bummed there wasn't more to watch yet. I was way more into it than I thought I would, and already had a bunch of theories pouring out in my head, so already looking forward to more.
Perfect. What about you, Martin?
I am a roller coaster on this one. So the first one, boring, but it's an establishing episode. You're hard pressed to find they all can't be penguins. It's gonna establish some stuff. It's gonna be a little slow paced, and supposedly, set the tone for the ride. The second one came around. I really enjoyed it, and then I was waiting for episode 3, and then 3 came in, and my expectations kind of dropped a little. Tapered off. So right now I'm at a roller coaster. I still can't wait for 4, but I'm like, is it gonna do the 2 or is it gonna do the 3? So we'll see. Hopefully it goes back up, because I'll explain later about my take on this.
Yeah, we'll get in more detail later. As far as for me, for watching the first 3, for me it's more of a graph going up more than anything. First episode, they did some elements that I actually enjoy, but not the execution of it. I'll say this: my favorite part of this show so far is the music. I think the music sets the tone for the scenes pretty well, and I think the music is really good at establishing the mood, what you should be feeling, what's going on. That much has been knockout, and even at the end of episode 3. They had the Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
Oh my god, I said that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That song, I love that song. So I was like, oh my god, they put that song in. So I think they're getting, music-wise, they're getting some mood set right. Cinematography-wise, I'm not sure. It's kind of hard. I don't know if they're trying to subvert expectations the way they're setting things up on some of them. Like in episode 3, it was good, but it's not what I would think of in a witch show. But at the same time, they did add elements to it that made it.
There's some real clever cinematography in there. Now, the question is, was it intentional? Only because there's a couple of scenes that I noticed that I was like, well, that's kind of cool how they kind of slid that in without telling you. That explains a couple of things. One in particular, I'll cover it when we get to the breakdown in episode 1. But there's a real good little cinematography moment where if you blink, you missed it. But if you paid attention, you're like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So, music awesome, cinematography good. The vibe though, the mesh, the pulse, I guess, of the show.
Yeah.
It's kind of everywhere. It's like, it seems like it all should be one level, but it's like they try and they're like, oh wait, we're going too serious. Got to throw in a weird joke that doesn't make sense or play out. Okay, now back to the serious stuff. So, the pacing, there you go, pacing. The pacing is kind of wonky, in my opinion.
I get that. Yeah, that, I could definitely see that. And that's, I think for me, my issues is some of the stuff I'm not understanding, or some of the stuff I think is more geared towards women in general. Because they'll make some jokes, I think episode 2 it was, they go to, holistic healer, or it's kind of like a hipster kind of
haberdashery.
Kind of making fun of what's her name, Gwyneth Paltrow and her candles and all that kind of stuff. It definitely had that kind of vibe, which I know very surface level on that. And like I said, some of the jokes there, and then
the only reason why I know it's called haberdashery is because of Schitt's Creek. They owned one, and I was like, oh, so that's what that is. Okay.
There was definitely something in there that I think was kind of. There was a joke that ran too long, I think, there specifically.
Yeah, okay. And then I think episode 3, for me, it started to pick up again. And because, 1 was slow. It's kind of slow. 2 starts to pick things up. You're kind of getting the crew together, but you really don't know what's going on. And I get it now. The only thing on these shows is they only get 9 episodes to do this stuff. So you have to kind of speed things up sometimes, get things done, or put things together, rush it. Now, I wish they would. I miss the days of old where you could have, at the very least, 13 episodes to make a season. Because seasons were usually about 25 episodes on most shows, which gives you time to develop characters, build things up, move things, and you don't have to try to rush things out.
What's up kills me with Disney is that, like, they'll do, like, 8 episodes or 7 episodes or 6 episodes. And I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that as long as you, like, double it up and it's, like, maybe an hour, maybe a little less than an hour.
Yeah.
But when you only got 30 minutes and then you've got, like, your Marvel crawl, you've got your intro, you've got your previously on, and then your ridiculous freaking credits because they're like, hey, we're going to show credits in English and Japanese and French and Spanish, and you're just like, wait. So this is 30 minutes. I'm only getting like 15 to maybe 20 minutes for an actual like meat and potatoes in here. Reminds me of One Piece.
Yeah,
like,
I was thinking exactly about like whenever we watch anime.
Yeah. Anytime you're watching One Piece, Jesus Christ, there was one episode I got so pissed because it was a good part of a story, and then they did the whole like they do like a little snippet of like what had just happened, and then they do the intro, and then they actually do like the announcement of the episode. That didn't hit until 18 minutes into the episode, and then there's still another like 3 minutes on the butt end for the outro. So I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I looked at my wife and I was like, 12 minutes? We're getting freaking 12 minutes on this thing?
They gotta try and pad it because they catch up to the manga.
Oh yeah, no. I get that, but if you're gonna do a show, I mean, I don't think there's anything set in stone that Disney's like, 8 episodes, gotta be 30 minutes. I would,
especially if it's a Disney original, like.
And storytelling. If you're gonna build a story, you kind of need some time to do it. These seem like they would be great stories if they had more time to flesh it out. Even our thing with the Acolyte. I think if they had more time to develop and stretch some aspects out, maybe it wouldn't be as clunky. And maybe, who knows? Maybe there's a good chunk of good stuff that actually wound up on the editing room, and that's why it all kind of went to crap because it's just like, well, we've got only so much time and. Well, there goes this scene, which kind of explained this. Why, OSHA. Maybe that's why OSHA flips. We just missed some scenes. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. And then, and as far as I know, I think this was completed before the writer's strike. I could have sworn it was done before then. So, with their new structure and all that, I don't think that's affecting as far as like time, because I get as to why these companies don't want to pay all that money to writers to write, 13, 25 episode series, and instead they've scaled it down to, it seems like just about any streaming show you watch is an 8 episode.
Hey, just call Hal. I can write this for you. No problem.
And I still sometimes watch Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and on those shows you would have, those seasons used to be, again, 23, 24 episodes long. I think now those have even been reduced down. Now you only get, I think, like maybe 13, 14 a season. So they cut out like just a ton of. So it's all across the board. I think since the pandemic, they've shrunk everything down. So maybe that's what's caused all this.
The shrinkflation is getting to the TV shows too. Ugh.
It's a cold day.
Exactly.
Shrinkage.
Somebody get out of the dryer.
But I think overall we're liking the show enough to continue watching it. It's not something where I'd be like, oh god, this is terrible. I don't think this is like really bad. Probably the worst episode was episode 1.
Like, I had zero interest in watching this. I had no intention until it was brought up to come chat about it with y'all, and I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Even though like I remember not really liking WandaVision like near the end. I was pretty burnt out with it. I was like, So like.
Yeah, and I think...
So the world just needs everybody to force someone else in their life to watch it, and this thing will grow.
That's how you like things.
Yeah. I know. And like I said, before we recorded this, I did watch the last 2 episodes of WandaVision to help me with context on things. And there are things that appear on there. And it just reminded me of how much I really hated the way that show ended. Like, it had a good build-up, with the mystery going along, and then... If you have not seen WandaVision, To a lesser extent, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, you will not get some of the stuff from the very beginning because it starts off with Agatha, who is the main antagonist in WandaVision. She's been trapped in a spell to where she's just living like a fake life, and she thinks that she's being the nosy neighbor. And, well, that's how they said it in the show, but it actually starts off in a different way, and that's how the show pretty much starts. Is her breaking out of Wanda's spell, or trying to.
Yeah, it picks up 3 years after Wanda stripped her of her power and left her in a delusion that she would keep playing out, which is the nosy neighbor.
Yeah, so I think at this point we can kind of get into more of the details on each episode. So we'll start with episode 1. What we liked. Now, episode 1, it starts honestly it starts like a procedural cop show, and in this moment, I think they got the music right. I think they got the setting right. I think all of that was great. The story was terrible. Or
the acting, the
overacting.
I thought the acting was too much.
She irritated the crap. Yeah. And she's normally funny, so I don't know if this is just a direction thing, or if the director is just like, no, I need you, like, you're at a 10. I need you at an 11. But this goes to 11. Well, go to 11.
And with Catherine Hahn, who plays Agatha, she is a great... she's a great... like a side actor, playing the sidekick role or a minor character. She's
supporting role.
This is not her. She's not usually a main one. So it's probably a little bit new, a little bit different for her now that she's mostly the focal point on this. And when, like I said, I think they got the mood, the setting right, and it really did feel like, well, this is a mystery. What's going on? Starts off with her talking to somebody at a crime scene, and they're like, "Hey, neighbor," which is odd way to greet someone at a crime scene.
Brought out of suspension because I'm the only one who can save this case.
Yeah.
Ding. I definitely thought at that point, I'm like, maybe I just haven't seen enough like true crime, like any crime shows or anything, but like, is it normally like overacted like this? Like at that point I was just like, I don't know, like maybe it's supposed to be making fun of it. I just like I haven't that genre.
And I think it was to a point. Except for it's weird when everybody else is kind of playing it straight, and then she's the only one, hamming it up.
But, well, like when I saw it, first thing I saw was thought of was Miss Congeniality, right at the intro, where she's just a disheveled mess, and then the scene that comes in after the one where she's investigating is where she's at the library, and she like cuts in front of everybody. First of all, that's the second cinematography that I liked, because I was just like, why is there such a long line at the library? I've been to the library. They're making it seem like it's Starbucks and there's a line out the door to check out library books, and she's just like, yeah.
And there's like 4 people behind her.
Yeah. So, I mean, that scene just like screamed Miss Congeniality to me when she cuts in line to place an order, and everybody's just like, oh my God, you're just abusing your power. But that was from the beginning, so we'll cover the crime scene part where she actually like discovers or gets put on the case, quote unquote, heavily, quote unquote. But just the character itself just reminded me of the way like over the top Sandra Bullock Miss Congeniality character.
Yeah, and
which also annoyed me in that movie. I couldn't stand that part of the movie, just like I can't stand this part of that episode. The way over the top where it's just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, so basically she approaches the body. Now, I'll have to ask you guys, because we'll just give it away right here. This is supposed to be Wanda.
Yeah.
Wanda's dead body.
Yeah.
Did you guys pick up on that right away?
Yeah. You can tell from the fingers.
Yeah, the fingers because they're black, and then she had that hoodie on.
I did not.
Oh.
and that's why I was like, just about anybody else I've heard, seen, review, anything like that, everybody picked it up. Was like, damn it, I missed that one.
Yeah, it's only because at the end of Multiverse of Madness, she has all those black fingers.
See, I didn't remember that. It
was in Multiverse of Madness, right?
Well,
a bit of it, yeah. But she also, when she ended up the dream walking, the other state was barefoot.
Okay. Yeah, and it's only because I know you watched those really recently. I haven't seen
20,
those
40 minutes ago.
since they came out. So my old man recollect might be a little
I had
off.
not seen either of those movies until today. Dylan was shocked. She had no clue I had not seen them. She's like talking about things. She's like, "Wait a second, you actually don't know?" I'm like, "No, That's why I haven't seen half of this. It's because I missed one movie, couldn't watch the next three."
Yeah, but with the fingers and the hoodie, I was like, okay, yeah, that's supposed to be Wanda.
Especially with them not showing the face.
And
like,
then also plot. I mean, how else was she supposed to break out of the spell? The only way that she could break out of the spell is to know that Wanda's dead, which gives her the opportunity to actually break out of the spell. Because the caster is no longer alive.
Yeah.
So, context clues and then some speculation. And then when they showed it, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. Plus, I think don't they show it on the trailer?
I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't watch the trailer.
Yeah, I can't remember. I saw it once, like when it first came out. But anyways, I think it was in the trailer. Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, and then they like do like a mock show opening like that. Like this is some true crime kind of thing.
Agatha of Westview.
Yeah, and like I said, it kind of captured like
Special Witches victims.
That kind of
Da-dum.
thing. So they captured that really well.
The like fake intro actually pissed me off because it had like their character names as their actor names.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like one of those Agatha of Westworld, played by Agatha. I'm like, what? Like it's like one of those. At least like have fake.
Well, you see, and I wasn't paying attention to the names until it said Mrs. Hart, and I was like, wait, Mrs. Hart? I was like, wait, is there somebody named Mrs. Hart, or are they just using the characters' names? Because I wasn't paying attention to that part. I was like, oh, okay, they're kind of like doing an intro.
Hot, baby.
And like I said, I watched this one. This one really didn't get me to chuckle much. It was, second episode a little more, third episode, but honestly, for the most part, I'm not really finding this as like a comedy. It's more of a drama. I think they're trying to incorporate comedy, but it's not quite landing for me.
The investigation first cinematography thing that I liked is that her finding the brooch in the pond. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you caught it, but you know how she's restricted to her house,
mm-hmm.
and what's right outside of her house? There's a big old pothole filled with water. So basically, this scene is happening in her street.
Front yard.
She's in the street and she finds a brooch in the freaking puddle. At least that's what I'm assuming based off how they do the shots. Because I saw it and I had to rewind it and I was like, wait a minute. Is that supposed to be like the hole that she finds the brooch in? So I was like, I bet you that's kind of... And then that's why when they showed the flowers later on, I was like, oh. Okay, yeah, so basically the flowers are here, which is where the body is.
Because that's where she took the book.
And then she goes further to find it in the
I love
pond,
the idea of her taking pictures of where a body should be and then printing them out and everything and slamming them down.
Well, and that'll bring up questions I'll discuss later here.
But yeah, sorry, but this was the first cinematography that I liked because this one stuck out, and then when it comes in later on,
it showed continuity.
Like, hey, that was kind of clever. I liked how they did that. So, then it's only because one has to jump to the other. And then the third one that I like, that I can remember, is going to do the same thing. It's going to be something that's done here and then referenced again later on. I enjoy that stuff because it's one of those, if you're paying attention, you're like, oh, well, that's kind of clever. It's like clever without saying you're clever.
Yeah. And the one thing I think she did really well, at least in the little true crime episode, I think she was good at bringing shock and, like, just when she's looking at the dead body, she's crying, she's emotional, she did all that, and I was generally impressed with that because it really felt like the mood of what they wanted with the music and everything. That it's like she was like, this person means something to me.
Oh yeah, she displayed discomfort very well.
Yeah.
Especially when they get to the police station later on, like her discomfort is very obvious.
Yeah. But
which is why it's like, why didn't they just stick with that? Because now she comes off as like some weird bipolar person where she's like, I'm very serious and stoic. And I care. Loser! And it's like, wait, what? So, I don't know. I could have done without the comedy shtick part. Because it's just so overdone. It ruins the tone, the mood. Because I think... Because that was the appeal of WandaVision. It was like... the TV genre of that decade that they decided to do. They're like, here's the 50s, here's the 60s, here's the 70s.
Yeah.
And they all kind of stuck to it, even with the stupid like laugh tracks and stuff, because it's like, okay, they're emulating that series at that time. So I think that instead of doing this, because this is kind of like, hey, we don't want to get too heavy, I guess, or I'm not sure why they're throwing the comedy in, because if they were to take the WandaVision thing, where they pretty much stay with the TV genre at that time, even with the cheesy laugh tracks and stuff, then they should have done that with the procedural, where that's more of a newer thing, and actually like treated it like Special Victims, and just been like, okay, no, we're just gonna shoot this straight,
Yeah.
and then everything is gonna start crumbling, because I think that would have been way more impactful. Where you're like, oh, stuff's beginning to fall apart.
I feel like that really doesn't make sense. Like, but it made sense 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Like,
that would have been more. It would have been compelling TV. I thought it would have been a bigger impact, instead of just like, oh, ha ha, okay, now there's supposed to be a chuckle here. It's like Thor, that last one where it was like laughs for laughs' sake, and you're just like,
yeah.
I mean, I get it, yeah, haha, but man, not really. Come on, screaming goats. I don't care how many times you have them in there, they're not gonna get funny. And that's how this gag was. It was like, no matter how many times you're gonna have her go to that Sandra Bullock character of like, just out there.
the one that pissed me off the most was like to the police station, and she like told her boss straight up to like piss off.
Oh, yeah, eat my ass.
Like, what
Wasn't
the
it?
heck?
Wasn't that what she said? Eat my ass or something like that. The big thing.
Yeah.
Disney's first eat my ass on.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, Star-Lord got fuck, which I was like, yes, but that one was
Open
done
the
so well.
fucking door.
What do I do next? Open the fucking door. Love that scene. Because they're all high tech and in the future-ish type thing. It's like, okay, you see that thing? Yes, push it in. Okay, now what? Open the fucking door. It's like, yes, yes.
What are you, an idiot?
Yeah, without saying, how do you say someone's an idiot without saying they're an idiot? But yeah, I mean, yeah, not a big fan of breaking that whole continuity thing. But hey, whatever. I guess
Yeah.
Gotta have your ha-has.
Exactly.
Strength in numbers, teamwork makes the
Eat
dream.
my ass, Chief.
I'll leave you to it then.
Eat my ass, Chief.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
and you,
well, which brings up the context of like, how does the neighbor take that? I mean, it's like, hey, real quick, here's found this person sitting outside your house. Let me introduce him to you. Eat my ass, Chief.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll see you around.
And so that brings up my problem is later on in the episode, she's going to realize that this was a dream. She's going to break out of it, or a spell, if you will. And it's going to be like, well, what was actually happening? What was a hallucination? Were all the neighbors there? Was she at that neighbor's house pretending that was the police station and giving that guy a hard time because she mentions how he's got stains and stuff on his shirt? And then she's like, no, I can't stop until I finish this. And he has to like turn off the light and be like, go home. Like, you're still in my house. I got to go to bed. Get out of here. Yeah, you need to leave. And
I will say, like, that scene in the in her office,
yeah,
is the first hints that it's not as reality seems.
Yeah.
Because Rio, as she's introduced, the FBI agent.
Well, she wasn't even introduced, because I had the subtitles on. The only way I knew her name was because
they mentioned her as Agent Fidel. I got her last name. I didn't get her first name.
I think Agatha says it later on, which is why I got it.
Which
is why it's on a different page.
Well, mine was because I had the closed captions on, because I was the whole time like, what the hell's her name? And then it said Rio, and then she started speaking, and I was like, oh,
Aubrey
Rio.
Plaza, if you don't.
Yeah,
know
Aubrey
who-
Plaza's character. She's asking Agatha, like, how do you see yourself? And as she's talking, she says something about, like, oh, what? Did she magically appear? You can see the lights flicker in the back. Because Agatha is, like, she's tensed at the question. Like, what do you mean, like, magic? Like, at this point, I think she's, like, because I haven't watched WandaVision in ages. I hadn't watched Multiverse of Madness or anything by the time I was watching this. I'm like, is she in a dream? Is she, like, specifically secluding herself? Like, because I don't have context for this, because I don't remember WandaVision or anything. I don't have context. So I'm like, is this something she's doing on purpose? Like, is she like trying to, like I don't remember. She doesn't have magic, but I think the lights flickering was like a
Like, hey, wait a minute. Well, and then not only that, but like that first line when she's like, "So this is how you see yourself." It's like, oh, okay. So this is kind of their way of saying like, it's not everything is as it appears.
But yeah, in this, Aubrey Plaza is introduced, or Rio is introduced as someone who's an FBI agent who's honing in on her territory.
You're here to take my case you just picked up like 2 days ago. Not even 2 days ago, like this morning.
But after they finish, and she's like, whatever, if you want to keep pretending to do this, is basically she's like, go ahead. And so the next scene, she goes to the pawn shop, and for that one, like I said, rewatching WandaVision actually helped me out with that, because the little brooch that she has, that she picked up in that little pothole, she actually picks that up from her mother in back in 1693 or whatever, with when they tried to kill her in Salem. And which reminds me of a joke, I think, in episode 2 when they talk about, oh, get the witches from Salem, or your old witch friends. It's just like, oh, those bitches are dead, or those bitches are ancient. They're ancient, yeah, something like that.
Well, yeah, because I don't know if you notice it, but every single one of the witches has like a charm.
Mm-hmm. They all have their necklaces.
Yeah,
they make a comment on that in episode 3.
Yeah. So like her finding the brooch was like, it's probably her representation of magic. So it's like, now that Wanda's dead,
see, I don't know if
it's coming back.
They mentioned something about Sorceress Supreme, something like that. So
yeah.
I don't know if her mom was the Sorceress Supreme, and then when she killed all of them, she kind of became the Sorceress Supreme. Which they mentioned, the Book of the Damned, or whatever it is also the Darkhold, which, again, I'd forgotten, because they make reference to that, and they call it by both names, and I didn't know it was the same thing. So watching WandaVision made me think, okay, it is the same thing.
Well, which also brings back to the library scene, because it's like, there's that one guy. Someone said, or what is it? It's all been burned. Or I can't remember what he said.
Yeah, he's like, it's all been destroyed. She's like, all of them? She's like, every last copy. And I'm like, oh.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
Yeah, because in the movies, the Darkhold is gone.
Yeah, she destroyed every copy from every universe.
Yep.
Yeah. In that pawn shop scene, she finds out that the brooch has the triple goddess on it, the mother, maiden, the crone. That is actually like a modern day like deity. Like, I worship the triple moon goddess. That's what's on my necklace, is the maiden. I have like a statue of her at home. She's she represents the moon. She'll be talked about as like the moon goddess or the high priestess. So that was like the first introduction of, oh, they actually did their research on this. This isn't just all made up magic. This is stuff like people actually still practice and worship in real life. And so that's kind of what first got my interest, because when they did it in WandaVision, I was so put off, because like, oh, they are doing witches again, because I hate how witches are portrayed so very often. But this is leaning more towards that show, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, where they do pull in a little bit more of like paganism and Wicca, which I do appreciate a bit more of.
Now you also have to remember that a lot of this is Disney's finally probably paying attention to what Marvel has been doing.
Yeah.
Because Marvel, the comic books at least, very good as far as like injecting like, hey, we've researched this stuff and we're gonna jam it in here. And then, if you're in the know, you're in the know. If you're not, you're kind of like, it's kind of a weird kind of concept. Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
But Marvel, like they do a lot of research before they do their stuff. So I don't know if I want to attribute this towards the showrunners or actually Marvel comic books doing the Marvel comic book things, and they're just kind of like, hey,
someone on the team I think is doing a real good job of that kind of thing. And like I was later telling, some of the things that the teen says are pretty accurate to what teenagers nowadays say. Like, that's kind of stuff that
How would you know, old person?
I still, like, because a lot of the sides of, like, TikTok and stuff that I'm on, like, some of my language does come out as, like, more, like, the Gen Z kind of, like, slang and stuff.
Oh, disgusting.
Damn young people.
I know. But somebody's doing a really good job with their research, and some of the stuff, like...
Well, and that's, I mean, like, I think the character that's about to be introduced is probably hands down my favorite character.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Aubrey Plaza is hot. Yes, I'll give her that. But she's not in there enough to actually say favorite character because she's not in every episode.
Yeah.
This is pretty much, hi, I'm a mysterious person. You'll never see me for a while.
Basically introducing to probably pay off later on down the road.
Hopefully, this is Marvel still. Disney Marvel.
If they don't show
as
her again...
Neurotico is, I'm sure they will, but here's the crap thing. It could be like at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to remember, we got 3 episodes in. There's only 5 left. So
There's a total of 9 in this series. So it's 2 in the front. It's going to be single episodes. And then the day before Halloween, they're going to have 2 in the finale. But there's only going to be 6 left.
Yeah, well, it's only because someone referenced it as the finale and then the other finale. So I don't know if
we'll get into it later, but the way they left off episode 3 could be an opening for her to come in.
Mm-hmm.
At
yes,
that point,
that is correct. Yeah.
Depending on what they do, and if the way it ended actually is true, and they don't.
Mm-hmm.
But then it begs the question on how she gets there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They kind of show it in the trailers, to be honest. So I won't say more than that, but.
So then it really helps that I haven't seen them.
Yeah,
I'm going in there blind.
No. I mean, Nerdrotic and his group, very good on that. They're like, here's the crap thing. If you watch the trailers or look at the Funko Pops, like Disney is shooting themselves in the face because they keep ruining all of their
spoilers.
They're giving away these spoilers. Like, Teen gets identified because they forgot to exclude his name when he says a line on the closed captions. So if you're watching the trailer with the closed captions, it tells you his name, and it ain't Teen, and you're just like, son of a... And then the Funko Pops released that character that I was just talking about, Teen. So they tell you who he really is. And then they release Aubrey Plaza's character, so they tell you who she really is. So it's like, Disney, come on. You keep, doing these mystery boxes, but then you're giving away the answers right away. It was like the Acolyte with the whole, who done it? End of episode 1. Oh, it was my twin. Well, God damn it.
Well, then what's the rest of the show going to be?
Couldn't we have done some suspense here? No. Or the whole like, hey, we got Trinity. Yeah. Dead. Like, son of a. And they, but they're just shooting themselves in the foot. They need to fix that. They need to, I don't know, hire people that kind of like maybe watch the show beforehand or something. or they're like, oh, this is a major spoiler. Maybe we should hold off until this date because they have a schedule. Episode 1 comes out on this schedule. Episode 2, episode 3. They could have done it where it released. I mean, it has to be like sometime between now and Halloween, which ain't that long. Funko Pop could have just been like, hey, you know what? We're going to wait till the episode releases, which if you release it coinciding with the episode, that might actually boost your sales because then it's like, oh, that's cool.
People are going to go look it up
and then,
immediately.
Yeah, so, I mean, doing the whole like, hey, let's get some pre-sales. And by the way, ruin the show and, possibly ruin some viewership. And, oh, well, oops. At least we got an extra, 20 orders in.
Yeah. Then, so, after the store, we go to her Agatha's house. Rio comes in, visits her, tries to convince her what's going on, and that's where we meet Teen, who's breaking into her house upstairs. Now, they have something which I didn't catch first time watching it, but I just now, us talking it over, it made me realize, because for episode 3 and what they mentioned, she has a son that died a long time, or it would appear. There's somebody named Nicholas, there are all these pictures, and she looks like sad in the room like that person has died, and that might be foreshadowing to something in the future. Teen's in the middle of the room breaking in, trying to do something, gets out, runs. Agatha is able to chase him down.
I did make a note about that. I was like, for supposedly being a detective, you are super out of shape, lady. Like, what the heck?
Well, and then
I will give it to her.
They showed the scene like as she's falling and breaking her goddamn hip. They show Teen booking it full speed past her. So somehow she got up off the ground, recovered, got the old people pains out, and then went
I will
Olympic
say this,
speed.
though.
Boom!
Teen was not running like an athlete though either. Teen was running, but
Scrawny.
I've seen some faster sprinters.
Was he doing a Steven Seagal run? With the arms?
Not quite.
If you don't know the Steven Seagal run, if you've ever seen Attack on Titan,
oh
and
my
you see
God.
those Titans with the arms flailing, that's how Steven
It's a
Seagal
little like
runs.
T-Rex kind of.
Yeah.
I initially
Arms
thought...
are an afterthought.
I thought that Robert was the...
Batman.
No, the guy at the thrift shop. Not the thrift shop, the pawn shop. I thought
Oh,
it was the pawn shop
yeah.
guy.
Because he was offering her
Because you saw the
200 for
curls and everything.
Well, yeah, and she was like, "Oh, thanks for letting me know the starting price."
So then, like, in his head, like, it makes sense for him to try and break it and grab it if he, like, really wanted it.
Yeah, after he kind of valued it for her. But, and again, it's like these neighbors are gaslighting her by like, oh yeah, this is going on. So, like I said, is this a hallucination or is this, it's really, that was the kind of the more confusing thing is like, what was real, what wasn't real, how much were the neighbors playing along?
One thing I didn't like, because I was just watching it, it drives me crazy that Rio comes in with a pizza hidden behind her back.
She's got it flat behind her
And she's
back.
got it flat behind her back. She's like, hello! I'm like, dude, that has got to be the shittiest pizza ever. Like, all the toppings had to have just slopped onto the bottom of the
I thought
freaking...
initially she hasn't had it straight up behind her back. I was like, what kind of psychopath? But then I realized she's got it flat, and then she pulls it out. I was just like, what the heck?
Oh, it is flat. Okay.
Yeah, that's,
She does.
I thought
so
she
initially, too.
had it
No.
vertical, and I was like,
No.
what the...
But don't get me wrong, when she does pull it out, she does kind of twist it a little
Flip
there,
it, yeah.
so it could have been, but yeah. But after, so after she catches Teen, she starts interrogating him. Aubrey Plaza's in the other room, we'll say that in quotes, watching through the two-way mirror.
I love when she kicks him and she's like, hey, you just got off of suspension for
no.
punching someone.
No.
Like,
Well, which is funny, because if it's a two-way mirror, or one-way mirror, then she wouldn't have even seen Aubrey Plaza wave the finger.
no.
All she would have heard is just a clink, clink.
So, that's where maybe that was in her head. She was thinking she was doing that, and then, I don't know, it's weird.
I think it's so ridiculous that she, like, fully thought that there was a connection between this random kid robbing her house and the murder suspect. I'm like, how? Because he had, like, ink from a printing press on his hands. She's like, you're connected! Even though earlier we found out that it was apparently European dirt underneath her fingers, not, like...
Well, then,
But I think, I don't know if it held over, though. Were her hands all black from the book? The Darkhold, Wanda?
Yeah,
I think
it was supposed to be...
So
yeah.
I think that's the...
But the,
well,
like, in-universe, like, in her head
Mhm.
explanation that was non-magic was that it was dirt. From like crawling into the earth and everything, but it was European in nature. Like they did the scans and everything, and so you can assume that it's probably from Wanda's like home country, and it's like that's the whole mystery of like, well, then why the heck is she all the way out here in the middle of nowhere with these dirt samples beneath her fingers? Like,
Well, that's why she was like, is that why the FBI was brought in? Was because the body was from this crime scene and across state lines?
And then that brings into the whole... How did she know that? Because the neighbor is the one who told her, hey, we got the samples back on that soil, and it's from some Eastern European thing. And then it was like, well, how did you know Wanda was there? How did that information get? I don't know. That, like I said, that's kind of where the inconsistencies in the information is like...
well, she's obviously not in her head. She's not right in her head. So.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is supposed to be like her subconscious trying to inform her, Wanda's dead. You don't need to keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why it keeps feeding her stuff that's like, hey, it's
This
Wanda.
doesn't make
She's dead.
sense.
She's dead. Come on.
It's like, well, you've been here your whole life, like, or like, oh, I'm worldly. I've
I'm
traveled.
worldly. I travel.
To where? Oh. Like, it's just the answers aren't there. Like, there's not a full formed.
Yeah, and Aubrey was even, or Rio was even like, hey, you've been born and raised here, right? And then, that's those questions. And again, and that's a moment where I think Captain Han really, she captured that puzzled look of what confused, like, well, what's going on? What's going on?
She does expressions very well.
Yeah. But at this point, this is where Teen goes to the interrogation. They have that super hammed up line. She's like, totally
God, I
total
hated that.
loser or totally lying. Yeah, that was just a super hammed up part that I could have done without. That was
Yeah, if I was in there and I was a director, I would have been like, hey, Catherine, not to be picky, can we do that again without seeming super shitty as a person?
When Teen was talking about like, oh, like the suspended without pay or whatever, she goes, the thing you're roasting me for is what makes me dangerous. I'm like, it feels so weird seeing somebody your age using the term roasting like that, because that feels like something my age. I'm like, that feels a little weird.
well, that's what those older cops have to do. And let me rap with the kids here so we can get no. But yeah, so interrogation at the end though, Teen starts chanting something to Agatha, and after she realizes that everything, it's just
Why are you looking at that painting?
yeah, it's like the crime scene photo she's looking at. Those are pictures,
This
and
is
yeah,
just pictures of flowers.
yeah, and then that's where she's like it's all coming together for her. It's like, what the hell
Her
is going
reality
on
is
here?
like crashing in on
Yeah,
itself.
nobody's on the other side of the mirror. You're just looking at a painting exactly.
Which makes it seem like Teen is the one who broke the curse,
Mhm.
which he announces later on.
Yes, he does say
Yeah.
later, like he broke her out of it.
Yeah, so basically right here in the interrogation room is like where the curse finally gets broken and everything. That's why she's able to see the pictures the way she does. That's why she's able to see, like I said, that's when I knew. I was like, okay, so if the dead body was over here, which is where the roses were, yeah, okay, so that makes sense. That stupid little puddle outside of her house.
I
That's where
love the
she found
idea
the
of them
brooch.
taking like a yardstick or something and like measuring out the same dimensions. They knew where the parameters of where they could be for this other scene is. Like, that's such a fun image to me.
Well, and then the last one that I noticed, and I think it's in this episode, or it might be in the next one, is where curse is finally lifted. When does she fight Rio? Is it in this one? Or
No,
the next
It's
into
the
this
very
one.
end of the
It's
first
in this
Very
one?
end of this
Okay,
one.
yeah. So the last one that I saw on this one is very, very end, where she's like, hey, I'll drive. And she sits behind her table with like this like mop and it's like
This
it's
isn't
like
a car.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
her car. So I was like, okay.
I think technically that's in the second one, but yes.
But yeah, so I was like, okay, that's cute because, she thought she was driving everywhere. So anytime she was just like,
Yeah,
go to the
okay.
crime scene,
And so, and I
she
think
climbs
that,
into her freaking table and is like, yeah.
and I think that it kind of explains some of her hallucinations, things like that. So that maybe some stuff she actually was interacting in, and some of it was just her by herself, thinking she was talking to these people. But we get to the morgue. There's no dead body. Then she starts describing what the victim looks like, and then bam, victim appears. You got
As if by magic.
The thing that got me is when she's describing, she goes, red the color, or hair the color of...
Scarlet.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not scarlet, that's auburn. That's absolutely a different color. Scarlet is like this like bright red, because I had to go look up Scarlet for a Star Wars character that is defined by their scarlet blood. I was like, so then what makes that different from a regular blood color? Because it's like a rusty kind of red color.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go look up what the two different colors were, because I'm like, but like there's also a very different, like, the way that men and women perceive color, like men's perception of color is a lot smaller than the way that women perceive it typically. So like women will see these two
well,
different
you
colors.
guys see more hues.
Yeah, we have way more different like hues.
But just to let you know, everybody our age already knew what color Scarlet was.
Oh yeah.
Because there was a little tiny known show called G.I. Joe. And one of the hot chicks in there was named Scarlet. So her hair was scarlet red.
Mm.
So anybody who's like Scarlet and they look at that like that ain't Scarlet.
I would think like the Earth's Mightiest Heroes like cartoon Avengers, that Black Widow, her hair is more of a scarlet
that's
than
more of a Scarlet.
yeah.
We're getting towards the end of the hallucination. There was the library tag that they found at a crime scene. It's on the toe of Wanda.
I thought that was fun.
And then they made the name of Wanda magically appear over the...
Well, it's because who checked out the books? Last person to have it was
Oh my god, that makes so much
Wanda.
sense.
Who checked it out before her?
Because she did the
Agatha. You're welcome.
I love that.
And then Rio comes in, and then this is where she starts breaking it down. She's like, there are two Jane Does in this story. You found the name of one. What's the name of the other one or whatever? Or she said, you're the other one? Is that what it was?
She like looks at the tag and then just above Wanda's name for like the card of what we find out is the Darkhold, because that's what the book was an abbreviation for.
Yeah,
just
I didn't even
above.
put that together, Martin. Good job, Martin.
I love that. But yeah, just above Wanda's name, A. Harkness pops up for Agatha.
Clever bastard.
I love that. I'm the one who used to work at a library. I should have gotten this.
Yeah, what the hell, library aid?
We didn't
Some
have
bullshit.
book sheets. We had like these little stickers that we'd stick on the back, and we'd stamp those with the date. It was my middle school library.
Yeah, so there are 2 Jane Does in this case, and you know her name, meaning like the Scarlet Witch. So what's yours? So Aubrey tells her, or I'm sorry, Rio straight up tells her, you're the second Jane Doe. What's your name? And then the previous person who checked out the Darkhold from the library pops up.
And so Wanda...
And her name was Agatha.
Her name. I
All
keep saying.
along.
Oh my god.
And then Agatha uses her... basically, she goes through all her characters she played in WandaVision, gets to the last one, and then she's able to break out of the spell. Comes out to reality, and then that's when she decides to
She's naked!
go talk to the neighbors.
For all you Thumb War fans out there, all 6 of us. But, yeah, I mean, you would think that, I don't know, I don't know if this is supposed to be them trying to be like, hey, we're witches, we're free-spirited, clothes are kind of like, whatever. Which is how witches were perceived way back in the day, where it's like,
There's a
they
very
were always in the woods, naked, dancing.
There's a super popular TikTok audio, and it's this like professor voice. She's, I think, a YouTuber. But she goes, most books on witchcraft say that witches perform rituals in the nude. And there's some guy going, yeah. And she goes, that's because most books on witchcraft are written by men. And he's, oh, that's unfortunate.
But yeah, so, I mean, maybe it's the stereotype of like, witches are comfortable naked, and then like, she's out here in the middle of the street naked and just doesn't
I think
like...
it's because she was just stripping all of her clothes, like, as with her, like, coming back to her sanity, coming back to her base, and then, like, she just hadn't put anything back on after she snapped out of it.
But I mean, she's in her house. It's not like she had, like, did it at a warehouse or something. She could have very quickly, I'm going to put that robe on real quick and ask Bob, who happens to be outside trimming the verge, and just be like, hey, what's going on? Instead, it's just straight outside for answers. That or... I
She's
don't
a
know.
Spitfire. She thinks first, questions later.
Yeah, see, I was about to say, or it could be the other one where it's just kind of like, I've got a problem, I need a solution, I'm going to find it right now, march out there, and I don't care what I look like, but she, like, doesn't address it or anything.
She openly throws his jacket off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's just like, and then there was a creepy kind of scene with the little girl, but whatever. I'm like, But I like how she doesn't say anything to the husband. You would figure that the wife would be like, Harold.
She was grabbing...
Oh, she did. She did later.
But no, I mean, if you see how long they're staring as a family, it's like, I don't know. If this had happened to our family, immediately I would be like, whoop! All right, kids, over there.
Now, Agatha realizes that when she detained Teen, she may have kidnapped him as opposed to detain, and she even makes a joke about that. That one did make me chuckle a little
She
bit.
just, like, opens up the door, she goes, oh, oops. Well, I mean, there's comments later about her eating babies for fun, so it's like one of those, I don't think that's the worst thing she's done. Especially not in Power of the Darkhold. Like, honestly, she's brawlered on horse and a little bit of kidnapping.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Light kidnapping.
And this is where it gets a little wonky for me, because it's a lot like that untrusting narrator. Because now the spell is broken, and they're kind of showing you glimpses of what is and what isn't. They don't quite answer what's real and what isn't. What was in her head and then what wasn't in her head. So, it's hard to be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, okay, she kidnapped Teen.
Tweet.
Tween.
Close enough, 3 years
Close
old.
He's
enough.
a tween.
Depends on if you saw the spoilers.
He looks like a tween.
Yeah, he's pretty young looking.
He's 21, I think. He was in a Netflix series, so this is his second, like, big acting thing. The only thing he's been in is a teen drama called Heartstopper, which is about a couple of schoolboys who, like, navigate realizing that they're queer together.
They do mention. I saw I watched some of the red carpet stuff, premiere stuff, and things like that. And that was brought up. That was one of the things that brought up. This was his second series, and he's like, "Yeah, but this is my first premiere." He was very excited,
Which is huge, because he's, like,
his name,
21.
Joe Locke, I
This
think
is
his
a
name.
like a
Yeah.
Disney thing. I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah, Teen's my favorite. I like him.
He's so cute!
Well, then he really is the innocent one, which we find out later on in episode 3. And he always has, like, the positive, like, it seems like he's the one leading Agatha onto the redemption arc. Since we're kind of close to the end of this one, this is my problem. This show is hard to watch, knowing what you know about WandaVision and the
Who T
multiverse
kinda
of madness. It's like, this person is supposed to be like such a bad guy, that it's like, okay, so Wanda, who had the love of her children, that should have led her onto her redemption arc, which didn't. It turned her into more of an evil person. And she was made out in WandaVision to be the good guy. And now you have the person who is perceived as the bad guy in WandaVision kind of leading a redemption arc also. And Teen is kind of her Jiminy
Angel
Cricket.
on the shoulder, yeah.
Yeah, her conscience. So I'm like, the only way I can enjoy this is if I totally just take it as a standalone.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well-
shut off the Marvel aspect of everything that came before it. Because if you start thinking about it too much, you're like, hey, I'm rooting for a bad guy that's still kind of a bad guy, but if they were such a badass bad guy, why are they such a dumbass?
Well, obviously she was relying on her powers, and now she doesn't have them.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, I mean, that's the only way I can enjoy it, is if I just kind of forget that WandaVision...
Well, I've heard stuff of what a lot of people think that's going to happen at the end of this, and that might make it more enjoyable, but I don't know, still even then, all I can say is, yeah, rewatching WandaVision, it was just kind of like Wanda walked down a dark path, and it got even darker or whatever, because with the dark hold, and it was weird, too, over these imaginary children.
Yeah.
And then she was mourning Vision, who had died, but then he was, again, reborn, but then not quite the same. But then
White power.
But then because of her image of Vision,
white power
molded
up.
his memory, I think,
Vision.
would be new Vision. So then Vision kind of became himself again. I don't know. But from what I'm hearing, there is supposed to be a third series that's going to come out.
Vision. White Vision.
Vision.
No, they can't call him that. Remember, they changed Black Falcon to
Oh,
Red
that's right.
Falcon?
So now he's going to be Honky Vision. Cracker Vision. Oh, that's awesome, because it's like Activision, but Cracktivision.
One of my very favorite things that came out of the first episode was the very, very end. Or it might have been the very beginning of the second one, where she's fighting with Rio.
That's the end of the first, yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
Mm-hmm.
Where Rio is saying, like, there was all these talks about this being, like, the gayest show ever or whatever. I don't think it's gay in the sense of, like, that romantic. I think it's, like, I mean, they're both girls, but I don't think there's, like, an attraction of any sort. Like,
What? They give a sense of, like, they might have had something. Only because of how, like, so in anthropology, you start talking about, like, personal space and distances and how you talk to each other.
and they get very close, yeah.
Yeah, and they get, like, super close, which is what you would call in, like, a intimate area.
Mm-hmm. For sure, though, like, I think she said something about it being a couple centuries that she's been running from Rio. So, like, it's one of those, they definitely have known each other for
Yeah.
a very, very long time.
Yes.
They have history at the very least.
Yes. But Rio says something along the lines of, there's multiple people who want to see you dead, hanged, or drowned. And Agatha goes, there are new options? Because those are the traditional witch trials.
Burn
the
at the,
hanging,
the burning.
I was just like, that was kind of a clever line. I really did like that one.
Although the confrontation itself was kind of weird, because she comes in like, I'm gonna kill you.
Like, you could have done it this whole
But then-
time. Like, why did you wait for
But
me to
then
be in my right
reveals,
mind?
well, you know, I can't kill you. And I was like, well, then why are you here? I mean, if you wanted me dead, you could have skipped this part, told the Salem 7, and then I would have no idea they're onto me, and then they would kill me.
If maybe there was something to do with Wanda's spell that, like, interfered, like, she still had the residue or something on her, that, like, she couldn't get to her, she had to be in her right mind.
I think it's a coven. I think they were probably part of the same coven
Yeah,
at some point in time.
Oh, okay.
And she never blasted her. So when everybody else in her coven died, it's because, remember, they start talking about, like, well, I can kill you, but you have to blast me in order for me to hurt you.
Yeah.
So I think Aubrey never did that. And if you notice, she's not blasting her. She has a
The
knife.
yeah.
So maybe it's like she used to be part of her coven,
Well-
and she was the only one who never actually blasted her.
And then they do make something an interesting point as well, because Rio says, well, fine. If you need power, take my power. She goes, I can't do that. It'll kill me if I take
It'll kill me
your
if I
power."
take your power.
These questions open to...
Whatever power she has,
Yeah,
it's a little much.
yeah, exactly. Or is it something that
Well, there's a quick, easy explanation onto this one, but that brings up spoilers because of Funko.
Thanks, Funko.
Thank you, Funko, because I can tell you why.
Well, the thing is, my friend Mark, like, who's like super into like they like the spoilers and stuff. They sent it to me without even clearing if I wanted the spoilers or not. So I was just like, okay, well, I guess I know these things then. Thanks.
Well, because of who Aubrey Plaza is.
Yes.
That's why she can't take.
Sense.
That's
yes.
why she can't take the power.
One of her lines.
Because if you take that power, well, what's going to happen?
One of her lines kind of makes me think of some, like, in the episode, the later of the second episode, where they're talking about who the last witch is, calls back to something Aubrey's character said.
Well, yeah, because she says, my heart is black.
And it beats me, yeah.
And then when they go into the second one, there's a list that's made, and one of the people that Agatha doesn't want to come with
She really does
them
not want to see her, yeah.
is actually, they're like, well, there was no name, there was just a picture.
It was just a heart, a black heart.
A black heart. And
well,
it's
of course it was in black. You wrote it in
well,
black pen.
Let me put my Sherlock Holmes detective cap on.
Yeah, that one I did catch pretty quickly. I was like, oh, she doesn't want to mention it because
I didn't think of it until later on. I was like thinking of it when I was in bed or whatever. I was just like, oh my god, okay.
Well, yeah, well, which makes episode 3 so much even more shittier because of what happens to her replacement. Because they were just picked up off the street, and now what happened to her.
It's so
you're just
funny
like,
to think of Rio
this
being
is
a green
some
witch
shit.
too, because like the last person they had, they don't have their garden witch, their green witch, and so it's so funny to think of Rio as a garden witch to me for some reason.
All right, so that's episode 1, right?
That's pretty much episode 1. Basically, it ends. Rio agrees to let her try to get her power back. To do that, she's going to have to walk the road, which she said it was a death sentence, but...
She's like, well, you're dead anyway.
Agatha has evidently done it before.
As she keeps bragging.
But she said, I'll let everybody know where you are, though. Everybody who wants to kill you. And she was like, well, who? The Salem 7.
Now, see, anytime I see this, there is a horrible movie called The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. It has Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger, and it also has Andrew Dice Clay. Andrew Dice Clay plays the protagonist. Robert Englund plays the main bad guy, the protagonist. And there is this scene, because anytime I hear this stupid thing where they're like, wouldn't you want to fight me at my full power? Yeah. Well, there's a scene in The Adventures of Ford Fairlane where they're on this ledge and they're fighting. He has this gun, and it's pointed at Ford Fairlane, or Andrew Dice Clay. And then Andrew Dice Clay looks at him and he's like, well, I don't have a weapon. Don't you want to beat me mano a mano, man to man? So Robert Englund's like, yeah, throws his gun away. And Andrew Dice Clay's like, why the fuck would you do that? You had me. All you had to do was shoot me. And then he pulls out his gun that's in his jacket and shoots him.
That's what they kind of do in Captain Marvel, where it's like, come on, come at me. He's got his fist out. She goes, no, and she blasts him. It's like,
exactly.
So I bet you can find it on YouTube somewhere. But there's that one scene so quick, and it just rings true. So anytime I see these cliches where they're like, don't you want me at my best? Don't you want to? And it's like, what? Are you a fucking moron? You have your enemy dead to rights. Why would you just be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, more satisfying. It's like, no, if you have 100% chance of success, take the 100% chance of success. Don't just be like, oh, well, you know what? I'll let you get your powers. Because then it takes your 100% chance of success, and even if it diminishes it by 2 or 3%, it doesn't matter. Now there's doubt. There's a chance, there's a percentage that they could beat you. And it's like, why would you do that? That's just that it never makes sense. It's like Tuco. You're gonna shoot. Don't talk. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just Dad in me, because Dad used to always see that, like, whenever the bad guy would make a dumb decision like that. It's like, why would you do that? That's dumb. That's stupid. And you're just like,
yeah. That's because Dad always fought to win.
Yeah, he wanted the bad guys always to win. And I'm like,
well, not necessarily with the bad, but Dad himself, he was like, when you're in a fight, you fight to win. You don't care about playing by the rules or whatever.
Hey, a W's a W. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if I had to take a book and beat the crap out of you. I won.
Well, John Wick.
That library scene.
Yeah.
Shh.
All right, so episode 2, we start out. Agatha's getting ready because she's going to go on the road. She needs to find some witches to get together.
On the road again.
Teen is able to convince her to take him with her, and when she asks who he is, he tells her his name, but she hears nothing. And all we get, and so she even asks him, steps real close and asks him, what's that? Come again? You know? And she comes up, asks, and then every time he says it, like this, almost like an M or something, like scribbled over his face, which we'll later find out that's a sigil of some sort, protecting him from witches for whatever reason. Now, Agatha does not lead on to Teen that she doesn't know what he's saying.
She says nothing.
She just said, interesting, and that's it.
She just calls him like my pet. He's my pet.
My familia.
Now, from what I hear, now we're in the scene where they're in a car, they're driving with each other, and for me, this was the only scene that I felt was pandering more than anything, because they're driving, he gets a call, what would appear to be from his boyfriend, and of course, instead of having his boyfriend's name, it says Boy F.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, and then, he worries, I'm just like, and from what I understand, from what I've heard, on the show, there's going to be an episode where it's going to be Teen and his boyfriend, I think, are going to be in it, and the predominant. I'm like, that's one of those things you could just naturally just let it unfold. You
just wait for it.
You didn't have to. This one felt like a little unnecessary to try to force that in there. I mean, if you're gonna have him call, that's fine, or even have him answer the call, do something, so it drives to the plot later.
Yeah, it's plot driven, where it's like, okay, this makes sense. Instead of just
this one
like,
just felt like they're like, hey, look, this character's gay, and it's like, that's fine. But you're probably going to announce it later, and I think it'll be easy enough to let it go there. You don't need to
advertise. It's like those like
that's my
product placement where they're like, have to have the Pepsi
so
help
they say
just right. Yeah, it's like Pepsi, the choice of the next generation.
That's something that I very much dislike in a lot of modern media. Is if you have a character who's queer, don't make it a production. It's a natural part of life to them. Like some of my favorite shows that have featured like non-binary characters, they don't call them non-binary. They just use the proper pronouns, and it's never questioned. That's what I like. It normalizes it. It makes it so that way it's not some production. It's not something that you're going to be stared at for. It's just
It's not that Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Look! Here it comes!
Because, like I said, Teen's probably the best
when I was
character
just watching
on here
Multiverse
so far,
of
but-
Madness, America, she has a Progress Pride pin on her jacket. I noticed it instantly. Dylan thought it was an American Pride flag, like an American flag, and I was just like, no, that's the queer flag. I know the queer flag when I see it. But it shows later, like, it's not her who's queer, it shows her mom's.
Her mamas.
And it's just like, oh, okay.
Well, see, I didn't even catch that.
But that one's kind of weird, only because she's from a different galaxy or universe or whatever.
Dimension,
so, yeah. So it's like, would that even be a strange thing? Like, I mean, it seems like it's an accepted thing where she comes from. So why would you have all those like flags and stuff? So
she's got the one. I can see her picking it up in one of the other universes she's been to, because she said she's
oh
been
well,
to
I know
73.
she could like go to another universe and pick it up, but why would it be like a gay pride thing or whatever? Wouldn't it just be like normal? So why would I need representation on it? No, I'm not like knocking
me
it. What I'm
personally,
saying is like,
and I didn't even catch
like,
it. I never even noticed it.
But like for somebody like who is very like, when I went to a concert recently, he put the Progress Flight up on his microphone. That's not something a lot of people would do nowadays. Like just that little bit of effort like makes you feel so seen and respected, and that's like just a little thing like that. That would go unnoticed by the majority of people. Like makes you feel welcome and like accepted.
Yeah, and that's why like I brought that point with the American Chavez is because it's like where she comes from.
Yeah.
It's normal because a lot of the times when we do it here, it's to say, "Hey, I support you. This is me showing support."
Yeah.
So it seems like
her character doesn't make sense.
Her
but
character,
like,
doesn't make sense. I get the
the
reason for it, or Marvel's or Disney's or whoever's reason it was for it, is to be like, "Hey, my parents are gay," but my thing is like,
why would she be prideful?
Why
of
would
that
she
if,
be prideful? Because it's the accepted thing there. That's why would she be like, "Hey, I support you"? I was like, "What are you talking about? You came from this." It's like when you go to Thailand, or the real androgynous people, where basically male and female is just like blended so well that it's just kind of like don't really have a sex like distinction at all. I think it's Taiwan.
multiple cultures have like different
I can't remember. There's one that's like really famous for it, where it's like you really can't tell at all, and it's almost like it's like it's the more you can't tell, the more you've achieved. Like yes, this is it. So over there, I don't see them like really flying like pride flags and stuff, because for them they're like, no, this is the norm.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we saying we support you when it's like this is the norm? I don't have to say I support you because
It almost feels like kind of ironic.
Yeah, it would be like me like flying like straight rights. Yeah, I support male female, marriage. And it's like, whoop-de-doo, 95% of the world supports.
They're like, that makes you look like a giant asshole.
Great, dick. Way to steal thunder from people who deserve something. Now you're just looking like an asshole. But for me, then I'm like, that's the only problem I had with that, was because I'm like, I get what you're trying to do, but given the context, it seems like they wouldn't be doing that because they would just be like, no, this is normal for me. Why do I need to advertise that?
Back to Agatha.
But I do like your take on, yes, like really kind of getting the whole, give us kudos. Like, it's not
It's
organic
activism, yeah.
it's not, there you go. It's activism. It's not like,
Well, it's a performative activism. This is the term.
there. Okay, yeah.
That's a big thing with like Pride Month is all these big companies, like it's rainbow capitalism. It's a performative activism. It's not something you're really voting for, especially because you'll just take them down as soon as June's over. You got your sales.
Like, hey, we...
Oh, and it's like these video game companies. They put all that stuff in the games, but then you send it to the Middle
Marvel's
East.
first gay character. Because he said he missed his boyfriend to Captain America.
But and then it's like I think it was Spider-Man 2. They had all these pride flags, things like that. They had it all over the game. It's all right, great. They ship it to the Middle East, scrub all that stuff out, take all that stuff out. And it's like, look, if you really mean it, keep it in there. If they don't want it,
don't sell it to them. Hey,
don't
sell it
to them, or send it to them like that. And if they don't want it, fine. You know what? They made their decision. You make their decision.
It didn't sell. So
or
we're not, virtual signaling here. We're gonna actually like
Chadwick Boseman, different, not gay, but
racial. I know who you're talking about.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
When they put the face
face, all in the United States. Black Panther with his face out there. In China, they put the mask on to cover him up. Star Wars, same thing. Finn. And if you look at the American posters of Star Wars, Episode 9, or any of those posters, Finn was predominantly one of the major characters on them. They had him out there. You go to China, they shrink him down to like almost like he looks like he's just a side character. Yeah. So these companies, if they're willing to say it, here in the United States, but they're like, oh, I got to make that money, so I got to. So it's like, look, if it really means that much to you, don't sell it to them. If you either that or keep your marketing the same. And if it doesn't sell over there, it doesn't sell over there. But no need.
Stick to your guns.
Yeah, it's just be
you
honest.
have the money for it.
If this is honestly how you feel, I would think you can make that sacrifice of I don't need the which is funny because the Chinese market, when you sit their movie theater sales, they only get 25% of the profit. All the other countries, it's
50.
It's about 50%, closer to that. They might get like 60%, and then the American or the production company Disney only gets 40%. But in China keeps 75%, and then they only get 25%. So it's like, look, if they're already cutting you off now, I get it. 25% of like however many billions people are out there in China. It's still a lot, but at that same time, it's the one you're getting the smallest amount of money back from. It's like, you know what? If you're really honest about it, if you're really being true, you don't need that money then.
Yeah, but stick to your message because it's like, hey, I want this, I support this, and hey, damn the other people. If you don't like it, I know the Quartering just put a whole thing out there where he's like the worst things that you could say as a business. If you don't like it, don't buy it. But at the same token,
don't like to read.
It is true though. I mean, it's like I would have more respect for a company that was like, hey, I put this in here. Why? Because I believe in that. And then they sold it the exact same to absolutely everybody. And then they're like, well, why are you kind of plummeting over there in the Middle East? And it's like, well, because they don't support this. So I kept it in there. I mean, everybody got the same game.
Yeah.
Why? Because I believe in this.
Regardless.
But moving back, us three drunks on a tangent, that's one of the tangents.
God damn beers.
We got all political.
The queers, I'm sorry, what?
Blue Moon strikes again.
Okay. But so Agatha, she comes to the Tourette's witch or the divination witch.
The divination witch. The what?
Clairvoyant.
I've not heard her called that.
For me, because she'll just be standing there and she goes, no. And she like sells stuff.
Yeah.
Especially in episode 3, she did it twice or whatever.
Protect Agatha! What?
Yeah.
They come to her.
But they
wear a condom.
Basically, teens asking, "Hey, what are we gonna do?" Because basically, to walk the road, they need a coven. They need a coven of witches. In this case, it's almost like they're getting the rejects of the witches. Because according to Agatha, even if you get the most lowest level witches,
enough witches get together, their
can
power
make
magnifies.
create just a spark of magic, just enough to do what they need to do to summon the rogue.
Cue the A-Team music.
This is one of the first things I like. They talk about the power of 3 a lot. There's a lot of symbolism with the number of 3, and they aren't super open about it with everything, but some things they do. She says any 3-mile radius,
Yeah.
there's
You will
enough
find
witches
a-
to make a coven.
yeah. Well, that's not just that's
No, there's a power of 3 in a lot of different, but it
everything.
is very
Father,
big
the
in
Son, the
witchcraft.
Holy Spirit. Forgive someone 3 times. Well, what if he sins upon you more? Forgive him 3 more times. And if he still sins, forgive him 3 more times.
In witchcraft, there's a power of 3, especially with the triple moon goddess,
Or 7.
the maiden. and the-
7.
But there's
7.
also
Tomato, tomato.
any energy you put out, you will receive trifold. And so if you put negative energy out on somebody who does not deserve it, you're getting that negative energy back 3 times. And that's something that's super prominent in witchcraft. And like you said, in very many major
Yeah. 3,
religions.
7.
Rings of power. 3 is balance.
Oh, I
But
know.
That's
I was
something
like,
that I noticed
that-
that they bring up in the show a lot.
is it really 3's balance?
Especially with the divination, which she
How many
mentions.
put on the left? How many do you put on the right?
Yeah, see, for me,
1.5.
this is where Catherine Hahn's at her best, when she's pretending to be someone
Oh,
else.
I hated
She's
it.
doing a set. I get it, but I think that's how she was supposed to be. She was supposed to be a gold digging. I want this money. I want this. And so she pretends to be just to test
A
this
Southern
witch to see
belle.
if she has any kind of.
He's got social anxiety.
Yeah, and so she plays a southerner, basically like she wants money. She wants to find the gold bars that her husband left, and basically the divination witch, she tells her, oh yeah, it's in a bowling bag in a closet back at home, and then Agatha's about to get up because she's like, all right, she doesn't have any real talent, she couldn't tell, but then right before she leaves, that's when she's like, I see something else.
You've been touched by another or something. Like,
Somebody somebody has withheld your powers or whatever, stole your agency for 3 years.
Which is a
That's 3 years.
weird. Oh, sorry, we missed that in the first episode too. And this only kind of reminded me here. It's a weird way of putting it. I see someone has stolen your agency, and then also in the first episode, I don't know. You seem more powerful. There's just weird wording where I'm like, I don't think
In a natural conversation, powerful one is you saying you seem strong, seem like you seem forceful, or you seem aggressive, assertive. Those words I get, but saying the word powerful. And it was almost meant like to me, it was almost like to trigger the audience. She's lost her power. She needs the word powerful to show that she doesn't have her power. But it's put in a very weird way where I'm like, that doesn't seem like a natural conversation.
Well, which is funny because in this one, powerful would have worked just fine. Like I was expecting, it seems like as if someone has stolen your power. I would get that, but for someone to be like, someone has taken your agency, I'm like, it's kind of a weird word for what she lost.
I think it's just a more political way of putting it or whatever.
I get it, but I mean, just
No, I get it.
it's not like technically wrong, but at the same token, it's not
the best
organic.
word,
It's not like it would be like
it kind of suits her, kind of like
facade. It's like, who the fuck uses facade?
To be fair,
nowadays?
though, she is also putting on that business front still, kind of. She's like in her customer service mode, where especially as like a fortune teller, a mystic, you're gonna be using this
or
fancy
vex.
words.
I mean, not too many people use like vex nowadays.
I love that word.
I do too, but it's just like it's not something that comes up naturally.
But she does let her know that, hey, I know who you are. I know you're Agatha. No way I'm doing anything with you. Get the hell out of my store, basically.
And then has a premonition.
But Agatha and
Boom, boom,
Team,
teddy
they
fuck. What?
barge their way in.
I made a list.
And, of course, Agatha is, like, insulting her, calling certain things, this, that, or the other. And, while in insulting her and doing all that, she's still committed to not helping them. And then, that's when it kind of triggers that.
She gives her secret, like, the only way I can steal your power is if you blast me with it.
Yeah.
And then also
To gain her trust, which is kind of weird because I guess you have to mention it to.
But that's also like a huge amount of trust to place into somebody.
Exactly, which doesn't seem likely for Agatha, but at this point, I guess it could also mean that's why she's so desperate.
She's so
desperate to get any kind of power that she's like.
And then
all right.
immediately she turns around and like blackmails her by showing her eviction notice.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, so either way, you're screwed.
And and like I said, that she has her little outbursts. And she comes up with the names. She does her little clairvoyance thing. She comes up with the names, doesn't even realize it. She's like, here, I want nothing to do with this. Get out of here. And like, oh,
Your name's on here.
Your name's on the list.
She's like, gotcha. You can't argue with you. Right as she's writing them down, she says Three of Pentacles, which I looked up. The Three of Pentacles, Pentacles typically represent fortune, actually, and good luck, which is why I wrote one. The Three of Pentacles represents teamwork, teaching others, and having a reputation or fame, and like creating valuable connections, which I thought was pretty funny, considering the direction the show was going in. I was like, yeah, making the team, like, everything, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, okay, so semi-prediction time. So, teen is never explained. Like, because it's like he broke into the house, which seems like not a friendly move.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden he's part of the coven after being kidnapped.
Well,
Seems
they do
like a
say,
weird...
like, specifically he's not part of it, because he didn't cast the spell, the door for the...
Right, but he does get to go with them.
Yeah.
He's the lapdog or the mascot or what have you.
Her familiar, as she says to one of the girls.
Yeah, yeah. So
Or Toto to another.
And then it seems like he is trying to put Agatha on the hero's arc. So what's the likelihood that they spin it
Okay.
and he actually becomes a bad guy?
I can see that. I hope.
That's what I'm thinking is what's happening. Because it's that whole hiding in plain sight where it's like... Because Agatha, even in this scene, like, she's just a horrible person. But she plays it in a very, like, nice way. Because this whole psychic scene could have been played a whole different way if she was the actual, like, heartless Agatha. It's one of those... It's one of those everybody keeps calling her this heartless, horrible person. And there's so many other ways that she can come at these people to basically...
Yeah.
I mean, she had the eviction notice. Why didn't she just come out right away and just like, hey, look, you're hurting for money. I know it. Why are we pretending? Come with me now. Or else, you know, I can do things. There's not so nice ways of recruiting each and every one of these people. She doesn't do any of it. But yet they all call her a horrible person. Like, she's just this mean, disgusting, overbearing, aggressive.
She's also got a reputation. They all know who she is.
Right,
Yeah.
but then when she shows up, she should know her reputation. So most people will come in and be like, you know who I am? Yeah. You know what I can do? Yeah. You're joining my coven. Let's go. And then, like, rule through fear. That's not what she does on any of these recruits. She doesn't do it for any of them. It's basically like this one. I'm going to put on a little act, a little dog and pony show. And then when that fails... Okay, you know, I'm going to kind
You
of
got me.
manipulate you a little bit. And she comes across as like a comical, likable, you know, not so... She doesn't come off as aggressive. She doesn't come off as like the Agatha Harkness that like you see at the end of WandaVision.
I mean, yeah, she has some snide marks that makes her that. But I don't know if that's because they're trying to say she's pulling it back a little because she doesn't have her power, or... But she does still treat them like crap quite a bit, so, and you know, not approve of them. And... when she's leaving this, you know, fortune teller who she'd go to get that divination from, then we kind of get the first hint that, oh, the Salem-7, because we may have forgotten to mention it, but Rio said she would have until sundown before the Salem-7 would show up. And then we see a shot of a crow sitting on a sign, and it gives you that ominous music like, uh-oh.
Especially since they are a huge omen.
Yeah.
And a lot of people see them, like, as bad luck and, like, bad omens.
Yeah, which this one, like, they do three of them.
They do three at least.
Yeah, and I think the other two are weird.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, the crow worked for me.
Yep.
There's going to be the one in the mall, the rat, that one didn't work for me.
I looked up what rats meant, and I couldn't see anything that made sense.
Not to mention, it's just the whole setting, the mood of it, it just didn't work. The wolf, it worked for me a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know about the symbolism on it, but it was at least darker and set that mood better
Wolves
for me.
are usually associated with Loki. Loki's a trickster, so I could kind
He's
of
also
see...
the father of Fenrir.
Yeah, so I can kind of see, like, witches, tricksters.
Yeah.
But
But generally, like, they're...
The rat, the only thing I could think of is that they're generally associated with, like, Black Plague.
With disease? Yeah, it's not really...
Which is, I guess, pestilence, which would be, I guess, maybe the witches? I don't know. But, yeah, it's a stretch with the rat. Well, and then also some cultures find rats lucky.
Yeah, that's a huge
so
thing.
So it's kind of like, depends on where you're at, brah.
But that was, again, the three omens.
Yeah.
We got
It was the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The son was a rat.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. On these, I can't remember any of the witches' names other than Agatha.
I
and
did just
remember
look some of them up. I didn't even remember Sharon's. The other two?
I did remember Sharon.
Hart?
Mrs. Hart.
I remember Mrs.
Hart, and she goes, "It's Sharon Davis, I believe."
So the divination witch is Lila.
Lila.
The potions witch is Jennifer.
Who we're getting to next.
And the blood witch is Allie. Sorry, Alice.
Yeah, the potions witch. Yeah, that's the one where I'm like,
That's
yeah,
weird.
there's a lot of. Like I said, if it wasn't for Schitt's Creek, I would have been like totally lost in like this entire thing.
Like I understand.
And I didn't even
the
understand
store
all of it. Some of it I was just kind of like.
I've been to that kind of store kind of like in passing when I was up in Washington, only because like I was on the pier and there was a bunch of bougie shops, and so I looked at it, but you know.
Basically, Agatha comes in. These two don't like each other. They make that known, and it looks like Agatha chases away some of her customers. I'm guessing making vulgar jokes because I think these were more women related.
Yeah.
Which I didn't get the jokes of the jade egg and all that.
Yeah, it's supposed to like strengthen your walls.
Your
I
floor.
Yeah, your pelvic
meaning
floor.
like Kegel.
I got you. Yeah, which I did hear that part of the joke. That was about the only part I did.
Yeah.
Understand, but yeah.
It's supposed to make you more firm down the stairs.
Yeah, I
Which
do
is
them
why
all
when
the
she
time.
kept dragging it out, I'm like, this is. I didn't like the joke to begin with.
Yeah,
And you're
it
like,
was-
I'm taking one for the road. You know where to pick it up.
Well, and then
Ew.
another thing.
See, I didn't get that, so I was like, that joke just went over my head.
Think about the platform they're on. You're on Disney.
Who's gonna pick that up?
Yeah, if you got any kids on this thing, that's kind of a weird joke to be thrown out there.
They're just probably hoping they're like me and they just didn't get it.
Well,
Like,
it reminds me of Shrek. So I don't know if you remember when we watched Shrek 2 in the movie theaters. There was this kid that was even younger than you sitting next to me and his mom. And that part where they're going down the well to save everybody and Pinocchio's doing that Mission Impossible thing. And then he gets all tangled up. And then Gingy goes down there to save him. And like he yanks and his flap comes open and he's got his underwear on.
Yeah.
He's like, it's a thong! Right. So I laughed, I chuckled, because it was one of those like weird situations where it's
Well, they
like,
show it.
oh, I know, but I mean, it was one
Yeah.
of those things where as an adult, I'm like, but I know a lot of kids are just like, I don't get that.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why I know that is because the young man that was sitting next to me turns to his mom and goes, what's a thong? And I'm like, oh, I am so glad I'm not that.
They
mom."
also sort of say like, do you wear women's underwear? No!
Yeah.
So this is one of those situations where that would be kind of awkward if the kid's like, Mom, what's a pelvic floor? It's like,
It's where you came from, baby.
yeah. Yeah, it's...
Well,
yeah.
but yeah, so they have this weird exchange like that. And basically, again, we find out that this potions witch, Jennifer, right, you said?
Jennifer, yeah, Jen.
Jen, Jennifer does not
Jen.
have... the word is not coming to me. She's been bound. She's been bound,
yeah.
her powers
She
have
doesn't
been
have
no
the
power.
Our powers have been sealed. So you
Well-
used to have powers, but
Basically, all these people, though, everybody in the coven doesn't have any powers.
yeah.
They have the ability to become a witch,
Well,
or have had witchly powers.
well, hers specifically, she's the only one they mentioned where her powers were bound.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's significant, and it shows, I think, partially in episode 3.
Yeah, it's only
They
because
mentioned
who bound her.
Yeah, it's only because in episode 3, Teen does that whole speech where he's like, "None of us have powers, so we're just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way."
The analog way,
Yeah.
which is so funny considering the joke later with the that made me laugh so,
basically,
hard.
none of them have powers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now they all were either powerful witches at one point, or have the potential to become witches.
Or are descended
Hart.
from witches.
Mrs. Hart.
I thought that one was so funny. I was like,
What I get, because if she's a green witch and that deals with nature, and we'll get into that in a minute, she has like a
The
lovely
garden?
garden. She helps
Mm-hmm.
make the flowers glow fluffy and all that, so...
it's very much implied that she's just plucked off the street, though.
No, I get it. But
No.
yeah, but I think there's almost like a potential...
Well, she even mentions it. This is a kidnapping. Ha ha ha. She was my favorite character until what happened.
She's
Yeah.
so cute. I have had a long day. Do not judge me.
I know, honestly, that reminds me of my mom.
I can
and
see
Bridget.
that with the hat.
Bridget and my mom, my sister and my mom, they They love their wine. They love their wine.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe I should make them watch this show.
In Vino Veritas. Yeah, you might as a control just to see if like they actually get it.
They So there's the whole thing with Jen finding out she's bound, and she basically like. They also get her blackmailed into it, but Teen does the blackmailing this time. He pulls up her like lawsuit about her the product she was just showing those customers, where you have to burn the candle before consuming it, which like there are products like that sort of. There's a candle out there I've seen that once you burn it, you can use it as a lotion, but like it's one of those.
Yeah, Dylan has something like that on one of her things.
Really?
And this one. Because, it looks like Agatha's not winning her over at all. And then Team comes in and...
Copies what he saw her do,
he closes it, kind of uses an Agatha way of doing things. Because I guess he saw how she did it with the first one, with the eviction notice. And he's like, oh, hey, look at this, That's not so bad. You might get 5 years for that, but 800 counts of 5 years. And then sounds a little lifey to me, like she's going to be in jail a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Which another thing that they bring up in this scene is that they're hundreds of years old.
Yes. She's also,
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so these witches have been along for a while.
Once we're done with Jen, she goes, there's only one more name left. There's not another name after that. And she like eats the paper so that way Teen can't see it. And then they cut to them being at the mall, which is where we see the rat. She's like eating her hot dog. She's like,
so when I first saw it, I was like, because they don't mention the picture, they just say, well, what's the last name? And she eats it. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be Tween that was on there. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. That'd
be funny, yeah.
But no.
It was obviously somebody she did not like. She didn't want to go see them. She has history with them.
Right, and it's only because of how she treats Teen that I was like, okay, she clearly is just like, oh, this guy's like a gnat.
Yeah.
I don't want him on this team. So I thought it was going to be him at first.
And then they go on the tangent about
and then they went the other way, and I was like, okay, that's not bad.
So this is where Teen finds out who the next witch that they're going to is, because she is the daughter of a very famous witch, the witch who wrote the song to open the door to the road that they're going on, and who very famously died on the road or went missing.
And I love the fact that she works at a Hot Topic.
It is so funny. And Teen goes, I know I have an aesthetic, but like, come on, do we really have time for this? I'm like, dude, same. But this is where we meet Alice.
Yes, and
who is described as a blood witch.
She, her role is supposed to be she's the protector.
The protector.
She is the protector.
She's a muscle.
So yeah,
which is very fitting for how she's introduced.
And so she's she used to be a cop. Now she's working security for, I would say, a Hot Topic looking place.
I think she just works at Hot Topic, and then like gets in trouble with security.
So copyright thing, it probably isn't Hot Topic, but very much implied.
It looked like it said Hot Topic.
It might have.
And then so basically they arrange it so it looks like Teen is stealing something, put something in his pocket and run.
Yeah.
And then I guess she pulls it out of his pocket after she trips him. They call the manager who, this is where it's a little weird. I guess it's just to drive the story because the manager does not even question or whatever. He takes their word at face value. He's like, she just tackled him for no reason. They didn't search Teen. They didn't do anything.
Honestly, that is kind of how customer service is nowadays. So, I didn't question it. I was just like, yeah, I've seen people fired for less.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems kind of weird.
It's just like,
yeah.
Hey, it's a different universe than ours.
And not only that, but and that's why
it's to drive the story.
Yeah.
This is why it's a weird series because it's like, I am a feared witch.
Oh, look
but we're
at
gonna
that.
throw some slapstick in here.
Yeah, the slapstick's not
this
really
is my
landing
familiar.
For me.
Yeah.
The mysteries are working for me, but not the slapstick.
The humor is very shit, in my opinion. Like, you're right. The humor doesn't hit. I like, you know what? You might be right. Well, I know you didn't say it, but if you were to remove the humor, this might actually be, like, a really good show. Like, if you threw out all that slapstick shit, you take the first episode. You take all the bad, over-the-top acting and take it as serious acting.
Totally lying.
Yeah.
Or total loser.
This actually, this part is one of the things that kind of irritates me is, like, the way that she's getting Alice to join her is, like, well, she keeps bringing up her mom, but the fact that she keeps going, oh, let's go find mommy. That, especially because Alice does not look that young. Like, she can't be that young, but she, makes her seem so much younger than her, at least, and it irritates me so bad.
Well, and she might be one of the only ones who actually is a normal mortal age.
Yeah.
At the possibility, like her and maybe Teen.
Well, and that's the funny thing is like Agatha doesn't
What
come
about
across.
Miss Sharon?
Agatha
that
doesn't come
too.
across as like intimidating. She comes across as more like irritating. It's like
Yeah, she
comes across as like the boss's son.
She comes
She
across.
doesn't
as,
come across as the boss.
She comes across as not likable, but not not likable because I'm afraid of you. She's just kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And that's
Annoying
that's
man,
not
please
a,
go away.
that's
Come
not
back
a-
again another day.
Yeah, that's not a great thing.
Cue the John Lovitz skit.
But after that, we finally get the scene at the house.
Teen sign, welcome Kevin.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
Is
so
it
cute.
Sinner?
That's
He's
exactly
so
what
He
I
cute.
did
is
too
such
here.
a lovable character. I mean, come on.
But like, I
Wow.
totally relate to like the badass image, but then like being a total sweetheart because I know that's exactly how I come off. Like, I will look like with my resting bitch face sometimes when I'm in public with my music and like some of the shit that I wear. But then I talk, and then it's just like one of those.
I don't get total badass vibes from him. I do get likable. So the things I like about him thus far is I do like he seems like he's the only virtue in this thing. It seems like he has a goal. Okay, well let me rephrase that. He has a goal. They haven't told you what the goal is, but it seems like he's always trying to push Agatha towards the good. Like, oh, I mean, come on, you're a badass. Come on, queen, slay queen.
He totally would say that too.
You got this. Let's do this. And he seems like he's always building her up. He's always Mr. Positivity. He seems like he's the only one that hasn't been beaten down by life. Only because maybe that's the point, I guess. Maybe, and that's why they call him Teen, is because he's the young one, and they reference that again in the third one. So maybe that's just like, since these people are old, that they pretty much just like, I've seen this before.
They've seen everything like
This
that.
isn't gonna work. And he's just like, come on, we can do it, guys. And it's like, fine, we can do it.
But for me, I'm seeing it a different way. I'm thinking it as a sinister goal because he's like, we got to get this. We got to get to the end. And I need you guys to get me to the end.
Well, see,
Because he says it's for power and he wants power.
Yeah.
Right, and then...
Well, what do you want to do with that power, Babs?
Well, yeah, and then like I said, because they don't explain why he broke into the house. Because, like I said, that doesn't seem like a friendly act. That's
He
why
just
I
said,
think...
I'm looking for the road.
Right.
So
But at the same
so-
time, he seems like he's very confrontational with Agatha the first time he meets her. But then he's trying to come off as the fanboy now. And so it's kind of like, all right, are you just molding your personality to what's going on?
That's why I don't like the untrustworthy narrator. Is that how he really was? Or is that how she was perceiving him because she was still under that stupid spell?
Well, see, I don't know, because I think her lines with Aubrey Plaza, or with Rio, and with Teen, I think those were genuine, and they were trying to break her out of it. I think Rio was just kind of like, all right, when are you gonna stop playing along?
Come on, it's not
But she
over.
wasn't necessarily helping her, but she's like, come on. And she was just kind
You're
of
supposed to
amused.
be all
that she was still
powerful.
Yeah, but it leads to so many like stupid things where they can just be like,
But yeah, but like I said, that was my problem with the hallucination too, because it's like, what was real, what wasn't.
Yeah, because I'm like, I mean, was he? But I'm still sticking with he's going to be the main bad guy at the end.
I'd love that as a twist. That would be so good.
Okay, well let me rephrase that. Not bad guy.
But
Because
Evil-
technically,
like an anti-hero?
He
Well,
has a selfish intent. We'll just say
because technically, remember, as I pointed out earlier, these are all bad guys.
that. Yeah.
So if
They're all very selfish and
if he's the bad guy to the bad guys, what do we call that?
he's an anti-hero.
He's a hero. He's going to wind up being a hero
That's so fun.
because he's
Yeah,
the
but
bad
is he going to
guy.
convert him? Are they
to
going
the bad-
Are they eventually going to make Agatha
Well,
sympathetic?
he's probably going to take the power before they can get the power.
I
Yeah.
would love that.
He's going to be like,
He's like,
thanks,
suckers.
bitches. Boom.
Was that with a B or a W, babes?
By the way, bad guy, bad guy. We're going to put you in jail. Or the equivalent or whatever. Which is jail.
I would just say the shadow dimension.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I mean,
Isn't
and
that
then if he
Superman's-
does that, he's technically the good guy because he defeated a bunch of bad guys all at once.
It's so fun to think of
That's my take on that. But I mean, I could be wrong.
Well,
I was wrong on the act line, but only like half.
Well, we'll get more to it on in episode 3
3.
because I think it opens up more as far as like questions, motivations, things like that. A bit more, not much.
But the party was definitely cute. I was like, oh.
They're like expired by a little bit, but that's the best I had to work with.
And then, which wasn't much. What was it? Expired? What was it? Granola bars?
Yeah.
Now,
I like the
this
little,
is
like,
when we do find the list. They actually go through the list.
He asks her straight up, what was the last name on the list?
Yeah.
Because they're like, where's our green witch? That was the question
She's,
they asked.
that'll be fine. And they go, no,
Yeah.
arguably she's the most important.
Yeah, we need a green witch. And then that's what she's like, oh, you know what? I know who it is. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. And because they asked her what the name was, they said it, and then that's when, what was it, Lillian?
It was
Lila?
Lila.
Lila goes, it was a heart. It was a black heart. She's like, you use black ink. A black heart, which was described as Rio in episode 1. So it's like, well, I don't want to ask her. So she goes to someone who was under Wanda's spell. Her name was Mrs. Hart, but her actual name is Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Sharon is so cute.
And so
She's my favorite character, and that is the running gag, is that no one remembers Sharon.
because they keep calling her Mrs. Hart. She's like, Sharon.
Poor girl.
But yes, and it's the mom from that 70s show. That's the most prominent role I can think of her from.
And now in that 90s show or whatever.
Oh, she in that
The
one?
world's littlest hobo.
Oh, I know, man. That cartoon, man.
No.
But yeah, so obviously Agatha ropes her in, even though she has no magical powers. It's like, hey, you want to come to a party? And she was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, well, yeah, I have been in this for a while. Are you coming to the party or not? That was one of the lines.
Let me get my
I had a
Purse.
customer like that this morning. She would not stop talking. I'm like, okay, I got it. I got 2 people like running the store right now. I can't be on the phone with you, dude. I'm so sorry. I get it. You don't want to hang up. It's niceties and it's politeness, but please.
Where were we?
So now all the witches...
Mrs. Hart.
Mrs. Hart is now
Everyone's
joining
at the
them.
party.
Everybody's assembled.
Fucking love Mrs. Hart.
And so they have this 3-minute song.
And
that
that
they
kind of
sing.
slapped.
Don't get me wrong. It was catchy at points, but it just went a little too long for me.
I really liked it. I would listen to it.
It just went a little too long for me. But they
Well-
get the song. But while this is all going on, because they kick Teen
Teen
back up
upstairs.
the stairs, and then he notices the Sinister, or I was going to say Sinister 7.
I was just talking about the Sinister Six today.
Salem
Salem
7.
Salem 7.
Salem 7.
Remember, 3 or 7. Those are your lucky numbers.
Ugh.
Salem 7.
Salem 7.
Sinister 6 is Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, because that's what we were talking about while watching.
Well, which I felt like it was kind of shitty, where it's like, hey, the Coven, we're all going to hang down here with this person I just grabbed off the street who doesn't even know the words of the song. Get out of
Which
here.
she mentioned. She goes,
Move.
am I supposed to know this song?
Yeah, exactly.
Which apparently it's a hit. Like, it's a well-known song. Outside of witches, it made it seem.
Yeah, but...
Well, yeah, but also that particular character didn't
Yeah,
look like
she's
she was
not-
in with the music either. But yeah, so they sing the song, and while they're doing it, the Salem 7 show up. They start ransacking the house. Teens upstairs trying to block things off, can't stop them.
I like how they remembered the door was wide open from Rio kicking it open.
Mm-hmm. Well, then it was just
Yeah,
kind
there
of
was like no front door.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, how am I
And-
going
and
to
then
stop
that's-
these people? There's no front door.
And then that was where we found out because the Alice, was that her name?
Alice is
Or
the
Ali.
Blood Witch.
Yeah.
And this is where we see the third...
Yeah, because Ellie was
sign.
like,
This is where
there's
we see
no
the
front
wolf,
door.
right?
This isn't gonna work. And then she's like, how did you find this place without us giving you the
Yeah, it
address?
was the
Right,
wolf
this
showing
is-
up just before
Yep,
the
before
Salem.
they actually manifested
Because
into
the guy's
actual
like,
people.
are you seeing this?
Yeah, because
And
it
it's
was...
a straight wolf in the street.
Yeah, because Teen sees the wolf, which is the third sign.
Which is interesting because he didn't see the rat or the crow.
Right. But Agatha did.
No. I think Agatha did when she went to go get Mrs. Hart. I think she saw the wolf.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
So
yes,
it was a
yes.
wolf
then
first,
Teen-
and then Teen sees
sees the Salem 7.
Yes.
Yeah, he sees
Because it
the...
seems one cloaked figure, and then boom, it like
and then
spreads
it
out into a bunch.
spreads into 7.
They were apparently saying, like, they did really good representation of, like, how to hold the bunny rabbit properly and, like, how pet owners very typically, like, they'll know their face into it, they'll go to smell them.
Yeah.
That's what Dill was telling me earlier. Like, they did really good representation of that. Just, I don't know, it's just cute.
I did like the neighbor's take. Oh, hell no! It's like takes off. It's like, yes! Finally! Realism, not just standing there, what's going on? Well, I guess also... I guess that wouldn't be right either, because if he was around for the Agatha, or the WandaVision shit, he probably would just be like, "Here we go again."
Well,
Danny
I mean,
Glover, I'm
that's
getting too old for
the
this
exact
shit.
point
Too
why
old
he's
for
like,
this
I am
shit.
getting the hell out of here. I do not need any more witches in my life.
Well, like what was it? Was it Ryan who said it? Where he was just like, "Why the hell would you even stay in this neighborhood?" They're like, "Hey, we got rid of Wanda, but we do have this other witch that's been locked away. Leave, stay if you want." And be like,
No,
"Oh
no,
hell no!"
They did like a Doctor Strange spell. Like, nobody remembers who she is.
It's like, no, we're good. Is that what happened?
No.
I was about to say I didn't think so, but
I'm
I
talking
mean,
shit.
but that would have been weird. Well, that would have been a great, like, in Spider-Man or something where like maybe explain it, because yeah, it seems kind of weird that it's
I can
like,
see them doing a one-off line, like, I didn't like that thing in Westview. Huh?
yeah, because it's just like,
Because they do that in multiverse. They go, yeah, there was an incident with Spider-Man.
but it seems weird that it's like, hey, there's this witch that's
Especially 'cause, like,
controlling
they
all of you guys,
Battled with the whole thing.
and you guys just saw this huge, massive battle, right? Okay,
Well, unless
you'll
they...
be okay. She's gonna be with you guys.
Do they
Just
just
humor
not
her.
remember the years?
Just humor
well,
her.
because they remember that Scarlet was, like, in charge of them, so why
Yeah.
would they not remember the fight?
Right. You would think they would. And then not only that, but you would think that they would remember Agatha as being the bad guy.
Because, like, if they remember, like, if Scarlet, like, took her powers, well, then it's, like, one of those, well, why don't you shun her still? Like, Scarlet doesn't even live there anymore, and you've defaced where her property was.
But, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't... If someone was just like, hey, there's this guy who's kind of known to, like, kill, like, all of his neighbors. But it's totally cool. He's got an ankle monitor on right now. So don't worry. He'll be all right. He's under a house arrest. So don't worry about moving. We got it. It's like, I'm sorry. Are you fucking serious?
Like the Dancing with the Stars girl right now?
Yeah.
You heard about that, right?
Yes, I did.
There's a convicted felon on Dancing with the Stars this season.
I did not know.
She has to wear her ankle monitor.
Yep.
She got famous for, like, deceiving, like, a bunch of, like, really rich people, saying she was, like, some Russian heiress or something,
Yep.
and, like, scamming money out of them.
Oh yeah.
So they're gonna do like the tango where they like put their hands up her leg and then like
And he kisses the monitor.
check the monitor, make sure it still shows that it's green.
They're making jokes about bedazzling it.
Did not know that.
Yep.
No.
But yeah, no. If I found out that my neighbor was like a convicted mass murderer, and he's under control, don't worry about it. You bet my ass. I'm like, hey kids, guess what?
How
We're
many of these
moving
mass
tomorrow.
murderers still went on? Like, especially, like, if you're looking at, oh, God, Zac Efron played him. Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
He escaped and killed, like, 4 more times after his initial arrest.
Hey, that was one charismatic motherfucker.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's all you need. Charisma. So okay, so then yeah. So let me rephrase that. If it was Zac Efron, maybe I would stay. Hey kids, he's really charismatic. You just got to talk to him.
Well, I was just gonna say, just with the show moving on, the basically now that they're singing the song doesn't work. They don't see a door, they don't see anything. They're arguing with each other, and now
But, like, how their pitch sounds.
Yeah.
Maybe if this one wasn't so pitchy.
Yeah.
I didn't like that, especially at the very beginning. What was it? Who's taking high?
Who's
or
going high?
Yeah.
Who's
I
going
don't
high?
do drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
I'm an alto.
But that's when the Tourette's. That's when
Wait.
the Tourette's switch came up again.
I didn't even think about that. Or was that supposed to be that '70s show joke? Because they're all in a circle.
Maybe.
Who's going high? Because remember that '70s show? They were always sitting in a circle and they would get high and they would show
In the
everybody.
basement.
Yeah.
I just
I
remember
guess
one
it
joke
could
where
have
And
been.
then
she's
since
like,
you got-
I didn't
since you got
think
the
of it
mom-
like that.
I just
I
know the
neither
one
did
joke-
I,
It didn't work
but just
for me,
now,
but
yeah.
yeah.
If that was the joke, that was a shit joke. That was horrible. I'm just saying, because yeah, it took me like 2 weeks to finally just be like, oh wait a minute, maybe that was the joke. Because I just hate it when they do that. Who's getting high?
So then...
No, the song. I'm an alto.
It is...
And you're an alto.
Jen, who like, kind of starts the song or whatever. They do the song. When the song is finished, they start arguing and everything, and Agatha's like, well, maybe it's just because you're all a bunch of weak bitches who I would never start a coven with. Like, honestly, this is so pathetic.
Trying to goad them into attacking her so
That
she
way.
can steal their power.
Yeah. And Lila is the one who remembers. She's, wait a second. She's just trying to steal her power. Like, don't don't blast her. Like,
And then that's when Agatha gets pissed. Come on and blast me, you bitches! You know, just yells at
Well,
them.
which is funny because as we learn in episode 3, none of them have powers. So
Lila might.
how are they going to blast her?
Lila's probably
Because
the only one who does.
And we even know what's her face is bound, so she doesn't even have powers.
Well, I think one of them, you could see something coming to their hand while they're arguing or whatever. When she's trying to rile them up and get them all pissed off.
It's got to be either Alice or
Yeah,
Lila.
Alice.
Because
It was Alice.
It was Alice's.
It was Miss Hart.
Obviously.
Yeah, the one who's standing on the far left. Yeah, it was Alice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alice was the one, because she doesn't know she has any witch power. She knew
Yeah.
who her mom was.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know anything as far as witchcraft. She doesn't have any of that knowledge.
All she knows is.
Well, whatever. We can talk about it. We're about to get to the 3rd episode.
Okay.
She knows that she was cursed.
Mhm.
Her family,
bloodline
her
is cursed.
bloodline is cursed, is what her
She
mom
said it
told her.
specifically the women, right? The women.
I
who
don't know
she
if it's
said
the
cursed.
women.
But she did
Well, because
say
she said
blood-
it was her grandmother before her. It was her, and then
Yeah.
she made her get the tattoo as protection against her.
Yes.
So, like, it's at least like, I don't know if they're going for
Bitches
the
be crazy is what you're trying to say.
like. This is something that a lot of media does is witches can only be girls, which it kind of seems like they're going because all the girls are like all the people who have powers here are the girls. Like, and then there's teen, but like
Be a
I
warlock.
like how they did it in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Like the girls and the guys, they were all witches.
Yeah, it didn't matter. It was like you're a witch.
That is a term.
Yeah.
Witch is just a term
It'd
of
be
somebody
the
who does
equivalent
magic.
of wizard. You
Yeah,
didn't have
it's
to.
not like
Hermione was a wizard.
it's just
Harry Potter was
I
a wizard.
very much prefer
Same
the term
thing.
witch to be gender neutral. Like it's just somebody who practices magic is a witch.
Yeah.
And not like witch or wizard or witch or warlock or anything. Like they're all witches.
Well, which always pissed me off. Ever since I was a little kid, it never made sense to me.
Mm-mm.
I'm like, wait, so dudes are warlocks?
Well, especially once you get into D&D, like if you use the different terms, that says where you get your powers from based off of if you studied, if you made a pact, if you like all that kind of stuff. Like it's a different kind of power.
Yeah.
In certain medias.
Because, I don't know, I never liked the whole differentiating. Like, if you're a warlock, be a warlock. If you're going to be a witch, be a witch.
Mm-hmm.
But, and this is stupid, but this is something I've always thought of, like, since I was, like, 2nd grade or 1st grade. I know it was dumb. My grandfather was heavy into Wiccan,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember seeing some of his books and stuff, and then, like, I remember I had questions. And I was always just kind of like, well, that seems kind of weird. Why did guys have to be warlocks and girls have to be witches? If
It's
you're
so
a witch,
lame.
be a witch. If you're a warlock, be a warlock. And have that be a general, like, descriptor. I don't know.
Yeah.
It made sense when I was, 6,
I mean, like
7.
being non-binary, I use the term witch still. Like I used to know this guy who called himself a witch.
Yeah, that's why if you ever hear me use words or slangs, it's not meant to be offensive. It's just, that's just how I think. I think
Whatever,
very
bigot.
generic. I think very, like...
I mean, I call my mom dude.
Yeah.
I call my sister bro. It's
When I'm at work, it's always like, all right, guys,
and girls.
I have men and women. I don't care. For me, guys is a general term
Yeah.
for everyone. It's not like...
Yeah.
I almost said, it's like, hey, guys. It's like, oh, yeah, way to define something with the word that you're trying to define in it. So, anyways, for me, stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, guys, it means, hey, you
Y'all.
group of people... That's who I'm talking to. I don't literally mean it's all of you dudes or males. It's just, that's how I am. I never really mean any offense. It's just, I have weird ways of thinking at times.
I mean, that's how it works in other languages.
And my brain just functions differently at times.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the door opens. The door appears.
The door
Yes.
actually appears.
Finally.
And when they're about to, they're at each other's throats, they open it up, and then, of course, with everything that's going on...
They hear all the clattering upstairs of the Salem
yeah,
7.
and Teen is like,
We gotta go!
we gotta go. He sees the door. He's like, oh, yeah, we're going down there.
We're going in.
He runs
Is that
in
the
there
road?
first.
Okay.
And then I see that weird-ass creature that's doing the worm on the stairs. Which, I
Going
don't-
for like a ring thing or
That's
whatever.
what I was
I
thinking.
guess, but it came off so cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It didn't work very well.
I mean, those
It-
bitches are
it
dust, remember?
It reminded me of Optimus Prime trying to transform. Like, you know how he, like, turns into the trailer?
We should definitely go see the new movie together.
I've
Hell
heard-
yeah.
I've been hearing
I'll
good
watch
things
it.
about the
I was
new
about to say, I've heard some good stuff.
I think my
We can-
finger's transforming.
I think I've got an idea transforming here for our next podcast. I'm just saying. Autobots transform.
But at the end of the episode, they close the door and they reveal the road. They're in a dark area, and not only that, the door is sealed above them, so now it's like solid ground again. And they're on the road, and they are on their way to their path, and that's how the episode ends. And then, of course, Agatha's like, I always believed us all along. I knew we could always do it.
Hi!
On the road again. But yeah, after seeing this episode, high hopes. I was like...
It was better. Yeah, I was going to say, the first one was, I don't know, this one, it made me want to hang on to, all right, let's see what the next one holds. Let's see what the next
This
one
is a
holds.
weird group of people. They're from every walk of life.
Well, it's a good diverse cast. I like it. I mean, but it's without being like, hey, this is
Forced,
a
yeah.
diverse cast. I mean,
You got your white woman, you got your black woman, you got your Asian woman.
although you could make the claim, where's the straight white dude? But
You're everywhere else.
I don't. Yeah. What is it? White History Month. You don't need it. Every other month is White History.
Open a textbook.
Yeah. Come on. It all starts with George Washington. But yeah, no, I like the cast. Every like Mrs. Hart, love me some Mrs. Hart, but that's just nostalgia from
Yeah,
that
it's nostalgia
70s
from
show.
that 70s show. Yeah,
Like even now,
I know. Like even before, like when I saw she was even introduced and she was going to be a part of the main cast, I was like, okay, I already like her, and it's just because of that. But when we get into the third episode, she does get a little irritating for me, though.
well, that whole episode was irritating. So I don't blame her at all. I guess her name is Deborah. I don't blame Deborah at all for episode 3. That whole episode was a shit episode in my opinion. But I saw and I was like, okay, well, I do like Catherine Hahn. I like her, so I was kind of like, okay, maybe I'll check it out. But then I saw Aubrey Plaza and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll probably.
Yeah, it's
really.
like it's got a few characters. It's got a few actors that I like.
And then I saw that 70s Show mom, and I was like, okay, what's holding me back here? So I mean, I liked it. The cast was really one of my biggest draws to just be like, all right, well, I'm coming in.
Yeah, I'm alright checking this out.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, if you can use it as a standalone, maybe Marvel needs to start doing that. Like,
Stop the interconnected word
forget
universe.
the universe and just throw in every now and again. Just be like, hey, you know what? We've got this show or we've got this movie. We're just gonna throw it out here, and don't worry, it's not part of the MCU universe. This is a standalone. Enjoy. And maybe that's kind of the key, because I think people are getting tired of the required reading.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you need to come in here, but here's the thing: you need to go back to when you were 8.
And watch all
And
these
start
20 other
watching
movies and
all
TV
these other
series.
movies that lead up to this, definitive Marvel cinematic universe. So maybe I mean, now I'm not saying deconstruct the whole Marvel cinematic universe, but maybe like have like an extension where they're like MCU extended or something, where it's like, hey, this is, just to let you know, this is standalone. Don't worry about it. Enjoy it as a standalone. And I think that would draw bigger crowds than what they're doing here. Kevin Feige has this whole flow chart of all these releases that are going to be coming out, and everything has to tie together. And it's like, does it have to?
Well, finally, and actually at the last Comic-Con in LA, they didn't mention any times, they didn't mention any schedules, they didn't mention anything, interconnecting like that. They didn't give it any dates, so maybe that's a sign for a change.
Just have a separate universe where you just have standalones. Everything doesn't have to be like the comic books. You can just have standalone movies where it's like, because that's the only way I can enjoy this, is forgetting Agatha is a horrible person. Now, don't get me wrong, in the comics, she becomes a babysitter for Reed Richards' son and all that jazz. So eventually, but she is like 90-something years old. She's like Aunt May's age when she's doing this. So obviously, given she's a witch and doesn't age the same way we do, she has got to be like hundreds and hundreds of years old to be at that age, which means, probably finally had her redemption arc and, blah, 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 blah. But at some point she was like a very feared witch. And seeing this and seeing how she was in WandaVision, I'm like, it's hard for me to enjoy this because I'm like, dude, so I'm supposed to be rooting for all these horrible people? Because they are. They literally are horrible people. So I don't know if it's just me or I don't know. It seems like a weird thing to have to do to be like, hey, you want to enjoy something that we've made you? Make sure you
Suspend your
restrict.
disbelief.
It's just like you have to restrict yourself and make up your own rules so that way you can finally enjoy some product that has been presented to you. Because I don't think this is a bad product. I think it's good. It does have hiccups. It does have real shit parts. But I think overall it's a really good product. Well, I won't say really good. It's very enjoyable. It's an enjoyable product. But I have to put blinders on to be like, I have to take this as a standalone. And I think Marvel probably should start doing that. Just like, hey, maybe everything doesn't like.
That's what Beast was
Deadpool
like, right?
was really freaking enjoyable, and it wasn't part of the MCU. It was just like, okay, that's really really good. Now don't get me wrong, when they tied everything together, and it didn't even, given everything that Deadpool and Wolverine did, it doesn't really, very little was done to tie it to the MCU. Most of it was a previous Fox properties.
Yeah, about the only thing you had to watch was Loki.
Yeah. One show.
And that was to know
Who the
TBC, TVA or something like
TVA,
that.
TVA,
Time
TNA,
Time Variant Agency or
TNT.
something like
Yes,
that.
there you go. TVA.
Yeah, it was a time variant something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I only watched season 1.
Yeah, me too. Although I heard season 2's okay. But
I was
don't
not
know.
interested because of all the self-set stuff, and then apparently they turned the female Loki or whatever into Enchantress, who we were talking about
What?
recently.
That's some bullshit.
Like, there's 2 different Enchantresses now, and she's one of them. Instead of who Enchantress actually is.
But yes, I think Marvel needs to do a split off, like, so that way they can be like, here's some movies that are part of the universe, and then here's some stuff that we just want you to enjoy.
Is that what, like, the Defenders stuff was supposed to be?
No, technically the Defenders and all those Netflix original series, they tied into the MCU.
I know they did
because
recently.
they would use stuff like the aftermath of the Captain or Civil War,
Avengers.
No.
or what was Captain America? Was it 1 or 2? The one that the helicarrier crashes.
2.
2?
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
That was the Avengers Age of Ultron.
No. Age of Ultron was that huge
Winter
thing.
Soldier was the one where the thing came down, because that's when he fights Bucky.
Okay, yeah. So yeah.
The carrier was
Regardless, there was... Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, because Ultron was the one where the whole fucking he makes like an island go up in the sky. So yeah, the one with Bucky, Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
So all the Defender stuff they reference to that one. Same thing with
You can tell I
Agents
never
of
watched them.
Shield. Yeah, no, I was hardcore into the stuff for a good grip. So yeah, all the Defenders and all that stuff they reference all that stuff. So that way, but very loosely. So it was like we got the A team, we got the B team, and the only person who ever tied them together was Agent Coulson.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, like in the background, you
Until
see
recently with...
headlines of stuff that had actually happened in like movies.
I like how they have, oh god, Daredevil show up. Matt
For
Murdock
Spider-Man?
is
Yeah,
Spider-Man's
Matt Murdock,
lawyer.
his lawyer. Which...
And then the one shot with the brick was so funny. How did you do
It
that?
reminded me...
I'm a really good lawyer.
It reminded me of Men in Tights. Heard that from a mile away. Great job. Who said that? But yeah, no, I mean, it was cool at the time, but you've cut off your supply. I mean, if you can go off and do one up, like, shows and stuff, might as well. Because, I mean, maybe that's the big problem with Blade, because, that Blade movie has been, like, horrific. Now, I do understand that there are some politics involved in that, which will... Because they want to try and make it into Blade's daughter's movie.
Uh-huh.
And Blade is just kind of like... It's kind of like the Hawkeye series, where Hawkeye...
Okay.
It's like a handing off, a baton toss.
Kind of like with, kind of like Logan. Not like... I know that X-23 does...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once Deadpool and Wolverine comes in, I'm having you over, and we're gonna have a party, and we're gonna watch it.
Okay.
Because Jesus Christ,
You can purchase it on digital October 1st.
I will.
October 1st?
I
Okay.
will even give you spoilers where I'm like, "Man, cover your eyes."
Okay, good.
And
Okay,
then,
I can handle that.
And then they'll be like, 10 minutes, and then I'll be like, Now you
I
can
have a
uncover
really
them.
hard time with gore. Like Doctor Strange made me nauseous, and none of it was on screen. Just like the implications of it made me nauseous.
Dylan and I will have your backs. we will make sure you're okay. But we will have a little party because that was a great movie.
Like when you warned me with the John Wick scene with his eyeball.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be doing that with you.
Dylan warned me for the Multiverse of Madness one too. She goes, "Ooh, you're not gonna like this." And then I kept watching. I was like, "You're right. I didn't like it."
Yeah. We'll warn you. So we'll have a little party for
Okay,
that.
I can do that.
But definitely, I think they need to. Sorry, I dapped the table there. But they definitely need to have like a subsect where they're just like, I don't know, maybe like
They need
MCI
a more
or something.
casual.
Like Marvel.
Well, I think the way DC was doing it, because James Gunn was mentioning that they were going to have the universe collected, and then they'll have elsewhere universe, where it's like, it's their own thing. Like, the Batman is an elsewhere universe. It's not going to be part of James Gunn's universe.
Yeah.
And
Well,
like the Penguin's not going to be part of James Gunn's universe.
So, get all nerdy. If Eric were here, he would go off for like an hour or so. So, Marvel, DC, they always run into the same problem. You have a main storyline, it keeps going, and then you have canon, and you can't break canon. So, it limits what
Chain events.
Right. You can not do some things, but so, because of that, thank you, you hand grenade.
No,
Oh.
I was just thinking of the. I was thinking of the stupid TikTok with Miguel on the toilet.
So it limits you. So all of a sudden now you introduce universe, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So comic books hit this wall long before I guess movies did. So they're like, hey, we've got, Earth, 326, stuff like that. So they're like, okay, this way we can have fun over here. And we'll just say it's a different universe. So yeah, James Gunn's idea is great because they're basically doing exactly what comic books were doing. They're
Every once in a while, just reboot it all.
yeah, they're like, hey, this
They've been
is
doing that with Spider-Man
this
for
is-
how long?
yeah, this is the main Earth. This is where the story goes. We're gonna have some other stuff, but it's gonna be over here. Now, the only thing that I'm worried about is that because comic books eventually started realizing that these other universe shows, they weren't cutting the mustard, so they had to start doing like crossovers. So it was like, oh, now we're gonna, because they would be like, well, this person's really popular over here. Well, this is still running over here, and this guy's kind of popular. You know what? It'd be awesome. We're gonna have them meet, and then it becomes the same universe again. And then now you have canon over here. And then
How many of those involve Wolverine?
Not too many.
I was just looking at a Wolverine and the X-Men kind of like stuff, and there was so much with
so Marvel does a lot of like what ifs,
Wolverine.
which are good. They're fun. Like what if Deadpool killed the universe or killed the MCU, which everybody thought that this was going to be that movie.
To reset everything.
Mm.
Yeah, because that would have been a way to do it. Like, guess what? We're rebooting. Fucking Ryan Reynolds killed everybody. Oops.
Oh well.
Which would have been a way to go.
They totally could have done that with Thanos.
Yeah.
Well, because technically in the comics, he does kill everybody to get the attention of Death, and then she goes off on him, and he has to bring everyone back.
Yep. Oh, wow. You're red. Yeah, because...
Yeah,
I was watching that with you.
Oh, okay. I was like, good job, because, yeah. The one that we get for Endgame is not quite the end, but it is their take.
I was gonna say, they do something like that in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where somebody's power makes it so that way time speeds up and it goes so far and so far in the future that a new galaxy resets.
Sure, they're on the road, and then at this point, they're talking, and they're like, well, obviously, we got one person here who is not a witch, which is Mrs. Hart or Sharon. As she keeps correcting them to, is Sharon.
It's Sharon!
Now, there was a part that something in media in modern times does that I'm not a fan of. It's not respecting you for paying attention to the story and understanding. But at the beginning, Agatha is like, there, she has all the witches lined up, and then she's like, you were trying to reverse your fortune. You were trying to, restore your power. You were trying to find out about your mommy.
The synopsis.
And it's like, I already know what they have. Respect that I'm following the story.
The spoon feed.
Yeah.
Plus, a lot of people binge stuff nowadays, like especially on these streaming services.
Well, not only that, but they did episode 1 and 2 on the first release, so you should have seen 1 and 2. So I mean, if 3
And they
came
did a
out,
recap.
and they did it like sequentially, and then week 1, week 2, week 1, 2 episodes, episode 3,
Yeah,
week 2.
it's
so it's kind of weird to be like,
it's
hey,
the spoon feeding of the media
in case
to
you
give
forgot, in the 7 days.
There's no media literacy nowadays.
Yeah, they don't.
No, there's no literacy or comprehension at times. It seemed.
Like with
Now,
people, hey, where you guys located?
unfortunately, yeah, customer service has made me a very negative Nancy in that aspect where I'm just like, I used to have so much faith in humanity, and then I got to work with customers, and then I'm just like, wow, I kind of thought society was better off than what we currently are from the examples I'm being provided.
How do I close this? Hey, you see that big ass X in the corner?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, now, so, and then I don't want to say, like, I'm really, really smart and man, it's just above me. But at the same token, I'm like,
Damn it, Michelle Obama.
Well, it's
Maybe-
just, most of the answers that they ask us are right in front of them. They can just read. That's the thing.
And-
they just don't want to put the effort in.
am I overthinking? Are we over? Do I think we're over here where I'm like, everybody should be caught up? But really, I'm like, oh, I guess not. Maybe we
Not
need...
to say you didn't realize it was Wanda. Like,
Now
Yeah.
we need to spoon feed all the people to be like, hey guys, TikTok generation,
nobody's got a attention span anymore. Like,
ADD, yeah, 10-second attention span. In case you forgot, in 7 days, because that ain't, that's a long time, folks.
Yeah.
So maybe, I mean, for me, it seems, or at least for us,
Yeah.
for us, it seems like it's like, this is common sense, man. Dude, retain some shit.
Yeah.
But it could be that maybe that is the current audience.
I wonder if it's because of the No Child Left Behind policy.
Oh, don't get me started.
Well.
Your brother.
It could be. But in the middle of this spoon feeding, we're basically this one where they're telling us each character's motivation instead of just showing us.
Resident Evil. And you, the master of lockpicking.
Unlocking. The master
oh,
of
there you go.
unlocking. Barry. You almost became a Jill sandwich.
That's what that always reminds me of when I see these types of scenes. It's like, oh my god, come on.
So she's telling the customer which each character's motivation, and then she goes for Mrs. Hart, or Sharon, and then she said, she's not there. Where's she at?
She's wandered off the road.
She has wandered off the road, and not only she had that, her purse gets eaten, and she is almost herself eaten up by the road until, is it Allison or Allie?
It's Alice.
Alice.
Now don't forget, this was also preceded by the fact that she was like accusing them of kidnapping her. Because she's just like, this is not
This is a
real-
horrible party.
Yeah, this is a horrible party. And then it's like, basically like, we need to revisit this whole kidnapping
Trying to
thing.
call the police, no phone signal.
No
so
cell
they're
service.
obviously in some place that's not on the mortal
And like
plane
in her
or
head, like
something.
they've gone under the city, like under the house. Like, where's the transit system? Like, why is it forestry down here?
Yeah.
She doesn't know what's going on. She's not a witch.
Yeah.
She might have witchy abilities, but like she's.
But finally, she's complaining about, well, she has nowhere. It's hard for her to keep walking when there's nowhere to go, and then that's when Jen finds that there's almost like a beachside house. Go ahead.
Now I do like that whole like, remember how you're talking about like 3 Mile Circus or circumference thing?
Oh.
She does say that like, everybody's basically a witch in training.
Yeah.
So I do like that, where they're just
Yeah.
kind of like, hey, you know what?
She's got some.
Which explains Mrs. Hart being there.
Yeah.
Because you're just kind of like, okay, so maybe she's not classically trained as a witch.
But, like,
that doesn't
she's
mean
got
Well,
this
like you
part.
said, yeah, because
Like
Teen mentions the analog part where it's like none of us have powers, but we can do witchcraft. And they're like, witchcraft.
And like,
Crafty.
like you were saying before, where you were just kind of like, she's a great gardener, so maybe she really does have those abilities, but it's just like not brought out as like you're a witch.
Just after them doing the recap is when they find out about the sigil, isn't it?
Yes, you're right. I completely missed that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where he's trying.
But this time everybody else knows, and they mention it, and then Agatha's like, I have nothing to do with it. But go ahead."
Initially,
Oh,
I thought
sorry.
it was just with Agatha.
Yeah, but before you bring that one up, so episode 2, I missed that. I did enjoy that scene where she's finally like, okay, fine, tell me about yourself, and he starts explaining himself, and she starts doing the.
Because she can't hear what he's saying.
She snaps and she adjusts the
She can
volume.
hear everything but
else.
him.
Yeah.
Right. So I liked that because that was a good like, hey, this ain't just a, and I don't want to say it was like them playing down to us, but I thought it was a great establishment shot where it was like, hey, it's she can perceive everything else except what he's saying. I liked how they pinpointed that. And
I like how he didn't even notice that she was messing with the radio while he was talking. He's just like, I'm so glad we got to know each other.
Yeah.
well, see, which was funny because I thought that would have been like an asshole move because in my mind, I would be like, oh, well, Agatha just ain't interested in what I'm saying. Because, if you start turning up the volume. Now, if she had turned it down, it would have made more sense because it would have been like, oh, okay, so. But turning it up, that's just kind of, that's like the person I take to work, they start yammering. And, yeah. That would be a clear sign of, I am not interested. And I would hope they would stop talking. So I'm just saying.
Around here is also around when I get the sense that Agatha has not actually walked the road. Because they keep saying, like, oh yeah, she's walked the road before, what do we do? And she kind of pauses, she's like, like, you get the sense that she keeps saying she's walked the road, but I don't think she actually has.
You might be right. I didn't catch that.
It's just before Sharon starts walking off.
Because that's Lila mentions how they'll have to go against each other's worst fears. They'll have to face that, and then
they go to ask her like, well, what are they like?
And then, but isn't she the one who explains that each one of us will have to face a trial for each of the disciplines or whatever?
Your worst nightmare.
Yeah.
So she does know, but the thing is, how do you get down to the road? You have to have a coven.
Yeah.
What happened to her last coven?
Maybe she killed them on the road.
Or they became a coven. Remember how she tried to open this door?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot me. So when she went to the road last time, maybe there was only one trial. Why? Because she killed off the whole coven before she got to the road. So how many trials do you have?
Well,
one.
That's.
And only because, as we move on a little bit further along in this episode, what's the first thing that
Jen?
Jen
Talking
is
to
the
Teen.
potion.
She's the potion. What's the first thing that Jen says? This is straight out of one of my shops. So it kind of makes it seem like, because there's 5 witches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
each side of the pentacle, yeah.
So my assumption is that there's probably going to be 5 escape rooms.
Yeah.
One covering each witch's...
The potions, divination.
Right. So I'm assuming
protection.
that we've covered Jen's.
Potions, yes.
Which was the potions. Here's your time frame. How good are you? So if Agatha killed everybody and she goes on the witch's road prior to what's happening now.
Yes.
How many trials would you have? 1. Mm-hmm. Your own worst nightmare. That's it. Done and done. Which might be why she was trying to antagonize him again. Because if they were all to shoot him, guess what? Now, guess what? I kill you and I take the cheaters way down the witch's road. Which
we see she does try to cheat this one too.
1 trial and I'm done. Now I got power. I get whatever I want.
Interesting take.
Just spitballing, just kind of what I just kind of thought of right now.
Mm-hmm.
Could be the beer. But, I mean, it makes sense, though.
Something's fishy about it in general.
Yeah. Well, see, I wasn't sure if there's something bad that happens at the end of the road, so she's reluctant to tell him everything that it is and just trying to think of what specifically she wants to tell him. Maybe to get the ultimate power, you do have to sacrifice everyone to do it, or, once you get to the end of the road.
I was like, come on, we all know that's the Power Stone.
Well, I don't know. My assumption was always that, only one person
gets
got
their wish.
the power. Yeah,
That's fair.
only because I don't have enough recollect to remember the first episode, but it seems like it was almost like one person got a wish.
They didn't really explain.
I know they didn't
but they
go
said there to get your power.
But my assumption was only one person got a wish. Now, I don't know if it was because of verbiage that was used in a side conversation somewhere. I have no proof. I haven't gone back to research or anything like that.
You're thinking of Dragon Ball, obviously.
But, yeah, Bulma. Oh, that bitch. But my thing is that, I don't know why, but I had an assumption that only one person got the wish. So I don't know if it was subconsciously something was said that made me think that, or if actually I just made an assumption. But usually stupid things like that happen where I'm like, oh, I thought only one person, and then I go back and I'm like, oh shit, well they said you, or something stupid.
To be fair, I read an entire book picturing this character as a redhead, and then the show comes out and she's got jet black hair. I'm like, what the heck? So I go back and I read the very first description of her, and she's got jet black hair.
Yeah, I mean,
so You miss one thing, your whole perception's messed up.
Yeah, so it could be something stupid like that. But I don't know. But it does make sense in this case because it seems... I don't know. Maybe only because it's like... Maybe my assumption is that seems too good to be true. That everybody who gets to the end of the road gets their wish. Mm-hmm. So here's 5 wishes. Maybe it's just a personal assumption where it's like... That seems like a...
Yeah.
Like
monkey paw situation.
One wish, I get. Like, I could get 1 wish because that takes a lot of power to do or whatever. 5 wishes?
That does bring into question, like, why is the road so powerful? Like, why does making it to the end grant your wish? What's powering it?
Right.
The cosmos?
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe the phrasing is your wish. And I'm just taking yours as, like, personal.
Singular? Yeah.
Me. One. But it does seem kind of weird to be like, hey, you guys made it. All right, everybody. You all 5 get a wish.
Okay.
Or 4.
Well, here, let's get a little more into it because we can actually touch on that when we get to Agatha's thing. Because when they get in, they find the house, they go inside. As soon as they go inside, they changes their clothes, all very preppy, or I don't know what you want to call it.
Jen straight up makes a comment. She goes, I look like one of my customers.
Yeah.
And, like, the house is very much set up, like, the bathroom is full of her skincare, we find out. Like, it is definitely, like, aimed towards her.
Well, there's a lot of plot devices in here. Where it's like, when Jen has to come up with a potion, conveniently everything she mentions is somewhere inside the house. So, in my opinion, it feels like this is Jen's...
everything that she mentioned, I would have in my house except for one. The only thing I wouldn't have would be the patchouli, and that's because I can't stand the smell.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, I have the petroleum. I don't think I have mustard seed, but I have mustard.
People, please bathe. Patchouli oil doesn't do shit.
But like the honey...
Back in the 70s, it was the badge of, I smoke weed. Now, it is just horrible. No one likes it. No one likes the skunk smell either, but you know what? That's okay. That's the new day and age.
I thought it was really cute that Shannon wiped her feet before going into the house.
Yes. Well, but that also made sense because she lost her shoes in that sludge.
She wasn't wearing her shoes because they shook her off.
Oh, that's right. She did. But that means she had that sludge all over her feet because she had it all over her hands.
Yeah, which is why she...
So when she wiped her feet, it was like, that's cute because it's like, you know you didn't do shit.
And then they walked in the house and they were wearing new clothes and shoes and everything.
Yeah. But I like how she had enough decorum to be like, well, let's ring the doorbell. Let's not...
We don't want to surprise anyone.
We don't want to surprise anyone.
Of course, Agatha's like, don't we? And then they walk in. And, of course, there are symbols of the moon on the door. And Teen is able to recognize them. So, seems like he's versed in witchcraft. At least in signs, things.
When we were playing Elder Scrolls Online, I started solving the puzzle, not even realizing that there was an actual, like...
chart of the moon.
Chart of the moon phases.
I was just like, oh!
We started talking right away. It was like, waxing, waning. Which one is this one?
I'd be Teen in that situation.
But we got it right, so...
Yeah. Dude, and, like, super fast, too.
Yeah. But basically, this house is the first trial. And it's going to focus on the potion. And they started off with a riddle. And, of course, Mrs. Hart, Sharon, gets it right because... not intentionally, they're talking about, all these clues. I don't remember the details. But then she goes, wine. And they're like, yeah, wine works. Good job. 10 points for Mrs. Hart. She's huh? What?
Because there was just a bottle of wine on the counter. Or on the table.
And so they're like, well, okay, let's open up the wine. And as a designer, I did like that they were talking about the card.
The card stock, baby, yeah.
It's double-sided? What does that mean? It means it's expensive.
Well, the double-sided doesn't, but that's okay. That's forgivable.
It's a very fancy
the
font,
weight of it,
the paperweight, yeah.
The color printing.
No, it may be the style, but I couldn't help but notice they had these like rough edges, and
the plastic makes it more expensive.
It could be the style, but still, for me personally, that hurts me. I don't like the
frailing at the end, dude. Yeah.
If you label something with wedding, automatically you can charge more. So if you call it like rustic and make it intentional, you can charge more.
So the riddle is: my age has value. I'm no fun alone. I mess with your mind. My tricks are well known.
And so it's when they're like, well, hey, let's go get a bottle opener. We'll have to drink it because, and Agatha even says, like, the clues say it, we're going to have to drink the wine, even though it could be poison, could be a trap, whatever it is.
Like, that's what the trial's going to be.
But, so this is where Teen and Jen start talking, and this is where Jen starts talking to Teen about, well, you know how she got the Book of the Damned, she gave away her child, Agatha, that is.
Name drop?
Which, I actually thought about the lock of hair in her locket. It's hinting that it might be her son's.
We missed the name drop. What was the name drop?
Oh, Mephisto.
Mephisto, baby.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
familiar with Mephisto.
I'm
so
familiar
I don't know.
of Mephisto.
The equivalent
Yeah,
of
you
like,
do. You've seen Blue Butler.
Think of
Blue
think of
Exorcist.
the devil.
Oh,
Mephisto is basically
is
the
he?
devil
I didn't
for the most
know.
part, but
Forgot
like
about that.
without calling him the devil. But he's like a very, very powerful.
I think a lot of like Mephisto and Agramon and all those as kind of like I think
think
of
that's
them
one.
as the devil's version of like Michael and all of them. Like he's their first line of defense of hell. That's like how I characterize him in my head.
Yeah.
Is he's his top devils.
Yeah.
Michael's an angel.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying he's
Oh,
his
yeah, no,
version of
I
Michael.
get it. Yeah.
Like God's angels and then the
Okay,
the-
I get
yes.
what you're
But
saying.
but this opens it up to teen that almost like doubt. See, this is where I don't get because it's like I don't know how teen learned about Agatha, and I don't know why he holds her in such high esteem since she's so obviously been portrayed as quite a bad person. And
he's very well learned as
yeah, but when she's telling him about this, about giving away her own baby to get this particular book, he's like, no way. And almost like she can't have done that. She's not going to do that. And this is where they in this episode is where they almost start insinuating that Teen might be Agatha's son.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely the insinuation I got there, especially because his hair color matches the locket's hair color.
Yeah. So we kind of have that going on, and so he's starting to not quite 100% believe. Well, he doesn't believe what Jen's saying, but it definitely put that seed of doubt that wow, is she really that evil to where she would give away her own child just to have this power?
Meanwhile, I'm like, that's not that evil.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
we get this. So he's got that seed of doubt planted. They drink the wine.
Team goes to. They're like, no.
Mrs. Hart, Sharon. She
downs it.
She drinks it. She's like, what? Don't judge me. I've had a hard day.
I got kidnapped.
And so she gets herself, 2 glasses of wine because they deny Teen any because Teen wanted to drink some. They're
So
like,
she's
you're
like,
underage. Other than Agatha. Agatha was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Which does end up benefiting them later that he doesn't drink any.
Yes. But yeah, so they all cheers their glasses together. They drink the wine. They go to the living room, sit down. All of them are drinking it except for Agatha. Agatha pours her out into a plant. Doesn't want to do it. And then this is where they start talking. You get a little bit of reveal, get
And
a little information.
You can definitely tell that the...
Oh, Miss Hart with the whole girl talk on the couch.
Yeah.
He's so cute. I can see Omi doing that. But Agatha's wine glass, she puts it down on the built-in bar
And it
and it fills back up.
Yep, fills back up like, nope, you can't.
Well, that
this one.
was like the clue. It was like, hey, everybody needs to drink.
Yeah. It's the only way it happens. Teen gets to bond with Alice a little bit, talks to her about a tattoo she has on her arm, and then when she's 13 years old, she said that her mom made her get the tattoo. It's a ward.
Against curses.
Yeah, against curses, and so she made him get that tattoo when she was 13, and then that's when Teen comes back with like,
A lot happened when I was 13 too.
yeah, he was like, yeah, a lot happened when I was 13 too. But yeah, so it shows that they're essentially all strangers, and so they're kind of talking, warming up to each other a little bit here. And then this is where we see Mrs. Hart, since she's the first one to drink the wine, she's the first one who gets the symptoms of what's going on in this particular thing. And the first sign is swelling.
I thought the way
Plastic
they did
surgery.
it was so funny. Yeah, it looked so much like a botched Botox.
Well, this is basically like women making fun of women who had shitty plastic surgery.
I thought it was funny.
I have seen so many of my like childhood crushes look just like this. Where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. And then I look at pictures now and I'm like, oh, what the hell?
And so at this point, this is where the
R.I.P. Pamela Henderson.
So this is when Jen gets kind of kicked into action because it's a poison. She's a potions witch. And
I'm telling you, this is her trial. I think everybody in the
for sure.
coven is going to get tested. So
I mean, they openly said there's a trial for each
it's
one of them.
very formulaic and it kind of sucks. But I bet you the next 5 episodes.
I actually wrote that down here. I said each episode number of trials. I was like, I can see that happening.
Well, which sucks
I
because
wouldn't mind it.
that means that. So we did 1 and 2. 3 was when the trial started. 5, 7, 8.
That leaves one episode
That
for the
leaves
finale.
1 episode for the actual finale.
I mean,
When they
they
get to
could
the
tie it all
final
together.
road, which
Yeah.
could. I mean, makes
Especially if they do
sense.
like like I know at least with Bad Batch, like with the Star Wars show, they did an hour long for the last episode.
All right, which also means that Aubrey Plaza has a potential of 2 other episodes because of what happens at the end of this one. That means that trial has got to be done by the Green Witch. So the Green Witch is going to have to be who was supposed to be the Green Witch.
She's actually her credits have her written down as Green Witch.
So probably going to be there for that escape room and then for the finale. So we'll see her at least in 2 more episodes.
But yes, yeah, it does feel like a very escape room kind of vibe to it because there's a time limit for this trial that they have. They're going through it. When the side effects are hallucination,
Faintness.
Swelling.
and
The weird plastic surgery thing was supposed to be swelling.
and I guess motor function disability because towards the end they were all having problems
yeah.
with their motor skills.
They were real feeling it.
But then at this point in the middle of all this, they find out Agatha has not done her part and drank the wine yet.
And they're all like accusing it. They're like, you gotta fucking drink it. Like, it's for everyone. Like, all of us have to do this trial. We're all in it together. She throws her glass to the ground. She's like, oh no, there's no more left. I can't drink it. And a little bit of Sharon's was still left. They pick it up. It fills right back up because it knows she hasn't drank it. And they make her down it.
Yep. And then, and right before that, she's like, I don't need to do this. She didn't want to do the trial, so she tried breaking the glass to get out of there. But all she could do was crack it, didn't break it. And so now they're doing the trial. She'll be the last one delayed with all the effects of this.
Yeah.
And while we're doing this, Jen tells them all the ingredients they need to go find. They're searching the house for everything. And then you have these few moments.
The ingredient list that she gave them is actually something that made me really happy. Because it kind of makes a reference to not only like modern Wicca and modern witchcraft, but how these ideas of witches using animal parts came to be. Because she openly says that eye of newt is mustard seed.
Yeah.
So all of these, like, the tongue of a lizard and all these things, like, they're actual real life ingredients, like mustard seed and, like, star anise. Like, these are just regular herbs.
Yeah.
Like, they're not mystical. They're not, like, these are actual spells that people used to cast.
Honey!
It's just magic.
Yeah.
The bowels of something, an insect,
Yeah.
honey.
Yeah.
Or, like, the corpse of a something-year-old phytoplankton. It's just petroleum jelly. Like,
Yeah.
it makes it sound so fancy and so archaic. It's just everyday things you'd find across the house.
I
And
never
that's
knew
exactly,
eye of newt was mustard seed.
that's exactly what a kitchen witch is. That's just what a modern day witch is most of the time because that's the easiest form of magic to cast. Something as simple as adding salt or cinnamon to your food can help protect you. Like, it's just these little meanings that these herbs have really perpetuated through time. And that's what really got me hooked was because seeing that, I'm like, they really are doing their research. Like, that's what made me very excited to get actually into it because I'm like, oh, they're really trying. Like, that made me very happy.
Yeah. Well, and then the good thing about this is it gets you at least a peek into everybody's backstory with their hallucination because it wasn't just a hallucination. They all seem to hallucinate with something on their past. Alice sees a steam room fill up and she has visions of her mother. Her mother talks to her about being cursed. Their family line is cursed. Felt when the grandmother had passed away. Was unable to stop it. And she said, it's my turn. And it looked like she was trying to drink something like to possibly poison herself. And Alice tries stopping her. And then that's when she snapped out of it with Teen. Teen lets them know we found our ingredients. And then Lila is with Agatha. They're looking for hers. And of course, she has some lines to say, like I said, I don't know if her power is she just sees things and she spouts them out loud because while they're standing, she goes, save Agatha! And Agatha's like, yeah, I like that plan. Let's find the ingredients first, all right? And it's like, okay, all right. So she's got that. But then she has this vision of this woman, very old, I don't know, looks maybe 16th century or something.
Yeah.
Very, very, definitely an older time, woman in a dress. Asks her if she wants to see it, and then as she moves on and goes, they'll eventually show it, and I'm not sure what it was we saw. Death? Who knows? But Jen's is probably the most interesting one they show in this one in here. Now, is this guy a preacher? Is he baptizing her?
So what he looked like was like in the Like if you've ever watched American Horror Story, the very first season, the house at one point is owned by like a doctor or a physician of some sort, and he definitely does like these procedures under the table, especially like what they do in American Horror Story is like under the table, like abortions and stuff. But he definitely looked like a doctor from like the 20s or something, like a man who definitely isn't as reputable as he portrays.
Yeah.
But that's how he looked like dressed to me. Like maybe she was his assistant or something, like a nurse for him, because he says to her like, "I knew you shouldn't have been trusted, or you're nothing but a menacing woman," or something like that, right?
Yeah, because he's definitely wearing a gown of some sort, and for me, it reminded me of people when they're being baptized. But yes, if you do think about the older doctor times, it could be something like that. He definitely has like a Hitler vibe to him.
Well, the confusion comes in that the gown he's wearing, and only because I've worn one of those gowns, it's something you wear as an altar boy. So it has religious ties to it.
Okay.
However, the length that he's wearing it insinuates doctor, and especially because you see him, he's in a lab of some sort. I'm assuming, I don't know. I would go with Reverend that's like trying to purge evil.
See,
That's the vibe I get. Like maybe
that's what I was thinking.
Maybe not so much a baptism, because what did she say earlier? They never change.
Yeah.
Fire, drowning. So I think he's trying to drown her. And
I mean, he does openly try to drown her.
Yeah. So it's a religious figure, I'm assuming, of some sort, trying to drown her.
I think especially with like the witchcraft, like the pursuing of witches by the Christian church.
Well, see, I didn't know if he see. I guess the reason I thought baptism because witchcraft is deemed unholy, things like that. So I don't know if he used witchcraft as his own, if you will, for a religious spell that maybe the baptisms bound her powers. I don't know. But I mean, everybody knows it's just like washing away original sin, but. And I didn't know if that had something to do with the choir, so that's why I was thinking that. But he could be a doctor of some sort as well. And
I don't think it's baptism, only because of the theme that everybody else has had. Only because everybody else has like the traumatic like brush with death, I guess, type of thing. So, mom dies, I prevent her from dying, but I guess I don't. What's her face shows her death. So I'm thinking that it was an attempt on her life that she survives of some sort.
And
But yeah, definitely olden times.
Like there we go. I'm gonna try to show you.
And I guess she was Italian or something, because
My love is Italian. She's speaking Sicilian.
Yes, I did see that she was speaking Sicilian when she was doing hers.
I have it pulled up too.
But yeah, so it gives you the backstories, and it does at least get you a little bit intrigued as far as what's going on, what's each of their story, I guess you will.
He calls Jen inconvenient. You are an inconvenient woman. But yeah, like each one of their traumatic pasts, like something that they faced that was horrifying for them. Especially since Lila, upon running back into Agatha, is like breathing hard. She goes, they're all dead.
Yeah. And so they come together, they start trying to put together the potion. Jen is getting things figured out. Now, we haven't seen Agatha's flashback yet because she was the most delayed one. So they're trying to figure out. And before they start putting the potions together, they find out that now all of a sudden the cracked window that she busted is going to break in, because now they're like underwater. It seems like now it looks like night has set in on there, but somehow they're like now underwater, and it's salt water.
It's making their time limit more pressing.
Yeah, because they got to get out of there before either the place floods or they run out of time. And so they're making the cauldron, they're putting everything together, they're getting everything going, and then in the middle of all this, when they ask for her hair, that's when we finally get Agatha's hallucination, and she has a vision. She hears a baby crying, and she looks over, she walks over, goes to like this crib, and when she gets to it, and she opens it up. When she reveals it,
solemn tear.
it's the
I
dark
was
hole.
totally gonna call it a bassinet.
Or yeah, do that.
It's like the same thing.
It is.
It is, but it's only because we owned a bassinet, and your mom had this huge thing where she's like, "No, that's the bassinet." Oh, sorry.
I think of the crib as having like the railings.
No, crib. Technically, the crib has that cage.
But
Prison
regardless,
look. The
there's a baby.
bassinet has
She
a
pulls the
little
blanket aside,
hood.
and it's the Book of the Damned. It's
Yeah.
not her baby.
Yeah, so making it feel like, well, okay, those rumors may be true. She did exchange her baby for the book. And of course, Teen sees her, how she's horrified, she's acting. They're like,
What
Agatha,
did you see?
what did you see? And she's like, nothing.
Why would she share her traumatic past with them all?
And
Well,
so
and then not only that, but nobody else did.
I
So
did forget to
get
touch
that.
on it because this is the whole dynamic with Teen. Is when they were trying to force Agatha to drink the wine, Teen said, you know what, I'll drink it then if you're not going to drink it. And she goes, no. So it almost kind of like gives her...
She sees him as her son. Like a
or
little
something,
bit.
yeah.
She's starting to be like attaching
It's
herself.
like, is this the start of her doing selfless things a little bit to keep him from doing it, to going through that?
But at the same token, this is an episode that clearly establishes Teen is not part of the coven.
Yes.
Because the coven has to drink the wine. Everyone participates. So basically the implication here, of importance.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone in the coven participates. Who's the only one that doesn't? Teen. But who is also detrimental to the potion? Teen.
Yeah.
Because you need the blood of
The unpoisoned.
the unpoisoned.
Yeah, so because Jen forgets the last ingredient, Agatha gives her a pep talk and lets her know, hey, I didn't mess with you.
I've
because
always
you did-
hated you. She goes, this isn't fucking helping.
But
Good job, Greg
you've always done important work.
You're
And
nasty.
she's like, you've always done important work and not that beauty crap that you sell.
Like real work.
Yeah. And nitpick, it's the whole thing. All movies do this all the time. They left too little time on the timer when she gave her that pep talk, because that pep talk took longer than... They had 50 seconds left when they started doing the pep talk, and by the time that ended, it had already been over 50 seconds. I counted. When I watched it a second time, I counted it.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. Because so I could record it, I was counting. But
Here's something better for you. The sous vide. How long does it take to boil water?
A lot longer than, like, what, 2 minutes?
Yeah, so...
Martin, this is a magical one, though.
Hey, I'm just saying, pep talks can happen in, like, split seconds if the sous vide...
Could the water not have been boiling to begin with?
Yeah.
You can use hot water.
Hot water gets it so far. And then you throw that sous
It
vide
depends,
in.
because if depending on your water boiler, hot water can be pretty goddamn
I
hot.
love how instead of, like, she, like, dumped the honey in and but, like, they just threw the whole bottles
the
of
entire
product in.
bottles. Well,
None of them opened, by the way.
None of them opened. I thought that was
But
so
the,
funny.
the only thing that, like, the other thing that pissed me off for that also... Not pissed me off, but it irked me. Was that quantities were out the window.
just throw it in.
Just squeezing, and
Except
all of a
for the
sudden,
frankincense.
but I need 3 drops.
Well, yeah.
And it's like, wait, are you serious?
You always do 3 drops.
We didn't fucking count. That'd be like making a cake, and you're just like, no, it doesn't matter. Throw in all the eggs. I don't give a crap if they're cracked. Just crush the shells. Give me the vanilla. Pour that shit in. Whoa!
That's definitely something.
Whoa! Chocolate chips? I need 52.
That is something I am
52.
guilty of doing in my own witchcraft, is when doing my measurements, out of measure. But when it comes to any of my essential oils or anything, it's always in drops of 3.
Because that's your most expensive thing,
No.
isn't it? Right.
It's because of the
right.
rule of 3.
Oh, okay. So at least something has to be in the rule of 3 then.
Yes.
Well, so then, yeah. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. That would be kind of cool. But it would have been cooler if they had mentioned that.
No. But
Or
yeah,
it'd
I
be
got
like,
you.
wait. 3 drops of honey.
Yeah, well,
Something has to be in the point of 3.
and
Which
then, of
would be
course,
cool if they had, I don't know,
Mentioned it, yeah.
included us dumbasses into it. Or it's like, hey, for you laymen.
And with the petroleum jelly, that's where Agatha was taking a shot at her. It's like, all natural, my ass. Let's test her on that. And she's like, all natural, and she's like, throw it in. And they're like, okay, that's fine. It's like, no.
I know snake oil when I smell it.
Well, but here's the weird thing. Isn't petroleum
Oh!
natural occurring?
This is my funny joke, but best jokes. When Teen goes to stir it, they go, you have to stir it with your dominant hand counterclockwise. And he looks at them.
Left.
He's like, what the fuck does counterclockwise mean? Because he's a He's Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha's
They
not
don't
gonna
know how to
analog
read
clock.
a digital or a
That's why
clock.
they were making a joke at.
Like I
Well, yeah,
had to,
me personally, because I was like, yeah, counterclockwise.
no, I had to go out of my way to teach all the kids how to read hands on a clock.
They taught me. I remember.
No, you remembered it really, really well. But the thing is Dylan and Byron did not.
They stopped teaching how to read clocks, just like they stopped teaching cursive.
Yeah, so I would point to the analog clock on the wall and be like, well, what time is that? And they were still teaching them, but they just weren't stressing it because the clocks on the walls and stuff were no longer analog. They were
We
all,
had analog clocks all through high school and everything. All of our clocks in school were analog.
But they also had the digital output on there. And then, really?
No, they were all analog.
And then your siblings were just fucking lazy. Because I would be like, well, it would be like, 9:30, and they're like, oh, it's 9:30. I was like, okay.
But I thought that was one of
So,
the funniest
9.
jokes in the entire series because I'm like, oh my god, that's.
I didn't
so
get
funny.
it because I was like, why the hell are you dumbing
Well,
this down for him?
No, it's
what years did
because,
it first
yeah.
take place?
Yeah, no, I get it. Once you said that, I'm like, oh, okay, all right, okay, that makes sense.
No, because
I did, like I said, that one went over my head
Well,
because
when
I was
Dylan-
like, I just thought he was an idiot. Because
Dylan didn't know the order of the months until she started working with us. So it's like,
Agatha All Along is set in 2016, which means he would have been born in 2010.
Yeah.
So he would not know how to read an analog clock.
Nope.
Well,
But that's just how it is. Like cursive, their section on cursive in school is this is how you write your name in cursive. All right, moving on. Next section. This is how you pass your.
But
your
they
test.
missed an integral ingredient in this potion, and none of them realized it. But they all had to put a piece of the hair in to be cured, right? Somebody's hair does not get put in.
Heart does not get put in, which is why she died. At least I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They did not go and grab
Well,
the heart.
we don't know
Well,
because Agatha has her blackout in the middle of that too.
We assume she put it in.
But okay, so yeah, I'm with you on that one. I had a couple of qualms. We're all supposed to lock hands.
But yeah, Heart
is not there, but who is?
Team.
Who didn't put hair in? Heart. Now, they didn't show everybody who contributed hair. They saw people reaching for hair. So I'm like, so did Team contribute to the...
Well, like, he couldn't have, like, well, I mean, his blood is in it.
I know his blood's in it, but did he pluck a hair? Because it makes it seem like this is to cure the people that are going to die, which I'm assuming is just the people of the Covenant, or the Covenant.
The people who've had their poison.
Right.
This potion, this cure is for the poison.
Right. So when they're like, all right, well, everybody needs to join hands, I'm assuming that it's like everybody who needs to be saved needs to, is it just like we just need 5 points? It's not just...
Because it's the pentacle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just like, man, during all of this, like, drama, everybody sure as shit is forgetting about Miss Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the way up to the last second when they all drink it. Everybody's like, we're cured. And then like, wait, the timer's still going. Water's busting in. And then...
they were very much all self-centered.
they're like, wait a minute. And then, yeah, Hart. And they're like, oh, yeah, Hart, we got to save her. So
they all go through
they
the
give her,
oven.
they give her, like, right when his time expires, they gave her something. And considering she drank the most, she had the most, so... But when they do that, the door opens up, and while the door's opening up, water is just pouring into the house, and it's about to be flooded.
I love that it was through the oven, and Miss Lila was like, oh no, I've heard one of my friends, she died in an oven, making almost like an allusion to...
No, Hansel and Gretel, baby.
Yeah,
Yep.
Hansel and Gretel.
She had a great house.
Made of candy.
Didn't say that, but yes.
Yeah. That's what made it great, obviously.
Well, and then this is one of the things that, like breaks my heart in this episode, is that the Hart family, Jesus Christ, fucking Wanda kills her husband.
So, okay, I had to go back and look for that, because...
I know he gets, quote-unquote, saved. But did he actually come back?
Well, no, there was no mention of her husband, because earlier in the episode, Mrs. Hart, mentions...
that he passed.
Yeah, she's like, Wanda, please, let my husband make him breathe again, or whatever. Like, because she had already mentioned her husband had passed.
Well, she starts choking him in the outtake before she rewinds and redoes the take in WandaVision.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Doesn't she do the rewind or whatever?
I don't remember WandaVision.
Right. Well, I think there's the second episode, I think, or something like that. She starts making him choke, and then Sharon, right, that's her name, breaks character and asks her to let him breathe again, and then I think she spares his life. So I think he lives, but it was just like
It's up in the air.
right. She lets him breathe. He dies though, but it's like, dude, I'm pretty sure all the stress of Wanda saying, "Hey, get your takes right, or else I'm going to kill you," probably shortened his life a bit. So he dies, probably under the regime of Wanda. And then now she dies out of just pure neglect because nobody fucking remembers
Well,
her.
we get to the bottom of the slide, and they're like, everybody's alive. We all made it fine. And then Mrs. Hart,
Not everyone.
and they're like, not. And her eyes wide open. And she's just laying there.
Poor
Teen!
girl.
Which I think either creates an opening for Rio to possibly enter into the next episode.
I immediately went, dang, they are not going to have a great time when the Greenwich trial comes up because they are missing their Greenwich.
So here's the thing. So we were talking about 5 trials. I was thinking about this earlier.
Uh-huh.
So we got 5 trials, 5 episodes, right? Supposedly. But then I think Teen and his boyfriend get basically like the Last of Us episode 3, 4, where it's.
I think it's the 4th one.
I think it's the 4th one. Yeah. So it's when.
I still haven't seen Last of Us.
Some reviews have come out, and I've heard some people talk about parts of the first 4, and I think Teen gets an episode with his boyfriend in episode 4. So it's like, all right, that's why I was like.
But is it the whole episode of episode 4? No, I only asked that because I was thinking I think it's the Last of Us episode 3.
Well, so if
that
it happens,
in the Last of Us, there's 2 key characters that are introduced, and then they show their life together, which is a beautiful story or whatever. So
It's like a waste of an episode.
yeah, I mean it's a beautiful story, but it's kind of a waste of an episode.
Yeah.
So
it gives backstory to a character that was in the game
that dies.
Yeah.
That has no bearing on.
Well, one of the character dies. The other one actually does.
I think I
live
know
in
which
the
character
game,
because I started some of the gameplay, so I know kind of.
Like if you play the game, you know it.
Okay.
But then they give you a backstory, which is cool and all. But like as far as the movie series moves along, I don't know. I'm one of those. I hate backflash episodes where it's kind of like here. Hey, I know I've already told you, but let me go ahead and reiterate this with another hour-long waste.
I feel like I watched something recently where I didn't mind how it did that because, like, the modern day and then the flashbacks were going at way different paces until they met up. And I cannot for the life of me remember what show it was.
That would be cool. But, yeah, no, so stuff like that irritates me. So anyways, the only thing that I can think of is that, like, if they give this the Last of Us treatment and then they give Teen and his boyfriend an episode to kind of convey the same type of feelings or whatever, well then, that's 6. That's all the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to rush 2 trials.
Well, but see, Teen's episode could be one of the trials, though. Because on this road, it doesn't look like they'll be able to go back to the normal world.
But he's not part of the coven. That's why they didn't include him in the wine drinking.
I get that, but there might be something that maybe is a sensory thing. It's an illusion thing. Maybe he thinks he sees his boyfriend and it affects all of them.
I think that's
because
he's not
he's still actively helping them.
But it wouldn't be his trial. It'd be like somebody else's trial.
Yeah.
It's like this flashback, but like... I could see that. Okay. That would be a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
I thought they were getting their own, like, very
see,
special
I don't know the details of how
episode.
they're doing it. My thought on it would be, since they went onto the road, was his would be, he may appear, but in the trial, that's not really him. It's just an illusion of him.
Okay. I thought they were going to go,
I was going to say, like, Hunger Games style, but that...
Well, see, I was going to say, I thought it was going to be, like, on a very, very
Start
special...
here, and then you go back,
Yeah,
six months ago.
I thought it was going to be, like, on a very, very special... Agatha All Along, and they were gonna try and do like the whole Last of Us, but on Agatha All Along, where it's like the whole episode is like.
Well, I do hear it is pretty focused on those two, though. So, like I said, I don't know. Maybe it's part of a trial, or maybe it is a flashback.
Maybe they're just like trying to explain more of Teen's story.
Yeah, but that's just it. It's like, but if they do, and if it's
5, all we can do is speculate on something we don't know, and
because the other witches are established.
Well, maybe they go through a story.
Oh yeah, so that is going to be the next episode.
Yes,
this is
3.
Maybe they go through one like super quick and
see, that's the only thing I can think of is you would have to double up on on 2 trials or something, or combine them or something. Because if you do the 5, because we lost the Green Witch, right? But then you have to introduce who the new Green Witch is going to be, who's probably Blackheart, and then
Baby.
but then that puts that trial back on the table. So there's 5 trials that are going to happen, which means if you're going to have the very, very special after school special with Teen, well then that's going to tie up.
This is totally off topic. On the the roles or whatever.
What? You mean
Google,
a tangent?
Teen. Not only does he have teen as his role, but it also says teeny. And I don't know why that's so funny to me.
I saw that too. I was like, what?
I don't remember them ever.
And then
teeny.
I know I was like, wait, who called him Teeny? I was like, I don't think I remember anybody.
She calls him so many things, but I don't remember teeny.
Yeah, I don't remember Teeny. I remember what was it? When she was in the fortune teller.
I remember he's my son. He's
Buford.
Son. Was it familiar?
She says familiar to
Was it familiar? Yeah.
Alice.
She uses familiar. She also calls him Toto. She calls him.
She calls him so many things.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't remember.
I love how he never catches on that they don't know what the hell his name is.
Yeah.
No comment. You
so
saw
fun.
Friday Night Tights, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've heard.
No comment.
That's so fun.
But, yeah, like I
But
said,
yes, it would be strange for someone not to catch on that they're not using your name after you tell them your name. I will leave it at that. Right?
for this whole thing, like I said, the parts of it that work for me is the mystery of it, of showing their backstory, showing them working together. I think chemistry works pretty well enough for these characters. I get that they don't like each other, and
Fuck you, Disney, for killing off Miss Hart.
We love you, Sharon. That
Who's
last
Sharon?
line, oh my god, I was so mad. I was
Even though at the beginning of the episode she calls her Sharon.
oh my god, she's such a bitch.
Yeah. Well, see, like I said, they don't make her look like a bad guy. They just make her seem like
An
dick.
asshole.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's it's funny. That's the only thing with of all the characters. I think Agatha is the least interesting to me. Wait,
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. She is the least interesting out of all. She's
because
annoying.
well, especially with this one, Jen, you kind of see hers is bound. Her power was taken away, and
One with the
see
mother.
that.
What's her name? Alice.
Alice.
Yeah.
She's intriguing. I want to find out more about Alice. I do like Teen's amazing. Jen.
Well, like I said, Jen, she was a little too uppity for me. But in this episode, when showing her almost getting drowned within her hallucination, with that, and then mentioning, he took.
I want to know the
he took my
backstory, but I'm
power
not.
from-
If I don't find out, I'll be like, meh. But I do like. I like Alice's backstory. I really want to know her.
Well,
backstory.
hers was like the most direct one that I thought was interesting. That it was like a person-to-person conflict, and somebody consciously took her power from her and did that. Lila's is just still a mystery. I'm not quite sure what we saw with hers.
I like
Something
Lila,
that freaked
but
her out.
I also definitely relate the most to her with her and Teen.
Tourette's.
I think the one.
The Tourette's.
Yeah, for sure. No, because of how much deja vu and stuff I have, and just how good I am at predicting certain things because of my pattern recognition. It's definitely one of those. I get it sometimes.
You're welcome.
I don't mind her.
Didn't she make 2 premonitions in that? I remember the one where she was like.
Save Agatha.
I remember that one, but then I could have sworn she made another one also.
I don't remember.
It makes me wonder the stuff she's saying is that stuff that's going to happen
I
in
hope so.
future episodes and
So because everything she says is
because
supposed
she's
to be,
like the clairvoyant, or at least
Well,
it
but-
seems like.
But see, here's the thing. Who is her clairvoyance helping? She says save Agatha, but saving Agatha could help her survive, which means help the bad people, or it could be save Agatha because it's the good for humanity. So we don't know.
Yeah.
Save Agatha could mean 2 different things.
It could also bring into question, she does, when she says, she sees somebody, she curses, she goes, High Priestess. Oh, when she sees Jen and she finds out that she's bound, she goes, High Priestess, you're bound.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, I kind of thought about, well, who is she getting her powers from? Who is giving her these premonitions? And I wonder if it is the High Priestess, the Triple Goddess.
It's supposed to be, I'm assuming,
Okay.
only because given her title.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming it's the High Priestess is talking to her basically directly, but through phrases.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is like, whose side are they on?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Because when they're like, save Agatha, that could mean...
I do have to wonder if they are going to, like, a little bit with, like, neo-paganism. Fuck, again.
Paganism?
Paganism. Where there is the triple goddess. On the flip side, there is the horned god, who tends to represent more masculinity, and, like, the sun. I wonder if they're going to bring him into play at all, or if they're just going to focus on the triple moon goddess.
I would say just the triple.
Yeah.
Only because this thing seems very female.
Feminine, yeah.
Yeah, oriented.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Because, I don't know, it just seems...
They did mention it, like, that's kind of like how the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, that kind of, like, shocked me, because they started off worshipping the horned god, and then as, like, they find out more and more shit about him, they changed their worship to the moon goddess. I was like, that's so cool.
But like I said, if this show, because not everything has to be funny. I honestly think if they would have cut the comedy out,
Cut the comedy.
it would be received better. It's just a lot of it is just not landing. It's
like,
taking me out of it.
The stuff in your face, not a huge fan. The little things, like the dumb look at the counterclockwise, that got me. Like the little things like that is immensely more funny.
Yeah, stop Agatha's comedy.
Yeah, I get this.
Because it's not funny. It's just more mean.
Yeah.
Doesn't come across. It just comes as like snarky, but without the snarkiness. So it just seems. I don't know.
Spirit. It's just not
Mean spirited, but like in a fake way.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, hey, look at your hair. Ugh.
Yeah.
And then it's supposed to be like a ba-doom.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
not,
like, was that really a joke? Or
Yeah, like I said, with
but it really wasn't like I'm intimidating you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, yo, Sky, join me.
But
Because of your fucking hair.
like I said, they have things that are intriguing and interesting, but I still don't feel like this is a show for me for the most part.
I feel bad because I think you're right. I think if you pull Agatha out of this, it's a good show. I know it's shitty, but...
Well, see, and like
Now,
Jen,
don't get me wrong. The end might like justify.
Jen seems stuck up, and she pulls that off well, and she conveys that, oh yeah, hey, I trick all my my clients or whatever.
But
by
she's
this holistic
open
stuff.
about it.
Yeah, and so it's like, all right. She reflects that character very well. The Tourette switch is very good at champagne, a little kooky, a little out there, seeing things, and it almost seems like her being able to see things has messed with her mind a bit.
Which, you know what, you might have opened my eyes. I think that's probably why I enjoyed episode 2 so much and didn't enjoy episode 3 as much, is because there's not really much Agatha in episode 2. It's her finding the team, so you get introduced to all these characters. So I know it's shitty, but I think you helped me realize why I liked the second one even more. Is because it wasn't so much about Agatha, it was about her team, and I enjoyed the team. The team is really, really good.
Yeah,
I enjoy everybody except Agatha, and that just could be, like I said, biased because I'm like, ignore the Marvel.
Who Agatha is.
Yeah, ignore the Marvel lore, and you're good. It's a good show, which I guess now it's focused. So don't ignore the lore. Ignore Agatha.
Yeah, because at this point, I mean, like I said, I don't really
It was
follow the
everyone all
comics.
along?
I don't know anything about this particular character, so for me, it's not ruining any lore or doing anything. This show is kind of like in its own isolated bubble once you take her.
Yeah, I mean, not even lore, just the movies that have come out,
Yeah.
the shows that have come out. If you ignore that and just turn it on, but like I said, maybe you've kind of hit it on the head for me. I think it's just Agatha. Get rid of Agatha, it's a good show.
Well, yeah, like
But then,
I said,
of course, if you don't have Agatha, you don't have the story. It's like Seinfeld.
Well, like-
I fucking hate Seinfeld.
Oh my
And
god,
I
it's
love,
like Friends with Ross.
Yeah. Oh, poor Ross, man.
I can't stand Ross.
Well, see, Ross is a sad, sad tale. We will call Ross Mrs. Hart. Because Ross had such an important role in Friends at the beginning, and then he just became the butt of every single joke at the very, very end. And he just became this annoying, like, I'm a paleontologist.
No, very first season finale, he is yelling at Rachel for losing the monkey that he illegally has in the first place.
No.
Like, it pisses me off.
Watch the whole thing. If you watch all the series of Friends, like around, I want to say season 3-ish, I guess, he goes from like an actual legitimate person to just a human punching bag. So if you don't like him at the end of season 1, keep watching. You will love Friends because you'll be like, oh my god, anytime this guy opens his mouth, he looks like a dumbass.
I would just get
He
so
just
pissed with
becomes
all the
a
shit he would do to
shell
Rachel.
of himself. He is a horrible, horrible character that everybody just like laughs at. You're just like Ross, and you're like, remember when he was relevant? He just becomes a punchline. It's a horrible, horrible thing. Poor guy. I love you, David Schwimmer. But yeah, no, I mean, get rid of Agatha. But I do understand that you need her for the story. But at the same token, I think if you could have spun this a little bit differently,
Just like dial back on the bitchiness.
Dial back on the over the top acting.
Yeah.
The just
I feel bad.
inconsistency. It's like it's a redemption arc. There's times where she's cool, she's fine, and then she's just like, oh yeah, we're in a comedy. Hold on, let me throw in this outrageous acting part.
It's like she's still locked in her head somewhere.
Yeah, like she's still playing the stupid like.
But we see the reality
role.
of it now.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Turn it
but
back.
like I said, I think there's some interesting elements here, and I'm just kind of like, right now for me, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to say it's the best show ever. I'm not going to say it's the worst, but it's doing enough for me to be like, all right, what happens next?
It's doing more than I thought it would.
Definitely not the target audience, I think, Chris and I.
Mm.
But we're secure enough with our masculinity that we can still appreciate this type of cultural diversity and inclusion. But yeah, no. I like the show. Honestly, like, if you're gun to my head, hey, you still want to keep watching? Yeah, I still want to watch it. It's really, really good. Agatha is a deterrent, yes. But the other 5 now.
Yeah.
Rip Hart.
Well, we don't know, because Rio might come in, so it might be the 6th one again.
Yeah, it'll be. But, that's just future me thinking. But yes, I am curious. It's got me peaked enough, and dude, I mean, Teen's got me hooked. I love me some Teen. He is a.
And then, like we were saying, this is his second acting role, and he's doing such a great job collecting all these fans' hearts.
And when they flip him into a bad guy, I will
still support him.
But I will know that technically, because he is a bad guy in this series, he is technically a good guy. So I'll be conflicted, but okay.
There are no good guys.
No, he's gonna be a hero.
It's not about good or bad. It's about power.
Well, once
who controls.
Well, once they reveal who he really is, you'll understand.
For somebody who had no intention of watching this show, I had zero interest. Like,
oh yeah, no, I almost had to twist your arm. I was like, did you want to watch it so you could be on this?
I fully did not.
But see, I told him to ask him to ask you, and then he mentioned to me.
He almost immediately. I was like,
And then he mentioned to me, he's like, well, she is into Wiccan and all that, the religious stuff, and.
But then I was like, well, we kind of already talked about it, and she has zero interest in watching this show.
We had just been talking about it. I had no interest in watching it, but only because, like, how they initially portrayed the witchiness, like, in WandaVision, I was pissed. I was not happy with it at all. I was so upset. So I was just like, I don't want anything to do with it.
Well,
which is funny,
you have to remember, Wanda was a rule breaker. She was against the norm.
Well, because of how Agatha acted in WandaVision as well.
Oh, gotcha.
I had no interest.
Yeah, because the Scarlet Witch is supposed to, of course, according to the Darkhold, she was supposed to come and break all the rules. Basically, she didn't need a coven for all the powers, and she could just create.
They said something about her. She was either supposed to destroy the whole world or bring it back to balance or something.
Yeah,
create
style world.
Souls. In case you're wondering.
Yeah,
but
at least 2.
I was not at all interested. I'm way more into this than I thought I would be.
Yeah.
But it's also not at all what I was expecting.
And it's like they did an upgrade. They went from kind of like vague witchiness from WandaVision to actually like more of a open kind of like up-to-date version.
You know, the unfortunate thing is, though, is that Marvel's had so many misses lately. I doubt people are watching this, though. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things because you put so much of a bad product out. Like I said, I think it's a decent enough show. I don't think this is horrible. Like I said, I don't think it's the greatest. I don't think it's horrible. Right now, I think it's all right, but it has just enough kernels to keep me wanting to be like, what happens next?
I will go out on the limb here and say at least this is probably some of the best stuff Disney has put out in a while.
Because, like, I mean, I'm also very,
Only
very
TV
because-
show wise, TV show.
TV show is.
I'm
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
partial to Bad Batch, so like that didn't count.
Yeah. No, but like Marvel wise.
Okay,
No,
okay.
no. Star Wars, they throw out so much shit. It's just, at least Marvel, they've kind of pulled it back. But Star Wars, they're still just like, oh my
Well,
god,
like,
what
when
day
they
is
were
it?
doing-
Tuesday. All right, we're gonna do Tatooine Tuesday. Bring it on, all stories from Tatooine. Luke, you loose?
There is in talks for a new show about Echo and Rex, I think, because there was talks about a clone rebellion. However, there was also talks about there being no more prequel era stuff.
As long as it's not the Marvel Echo, then I'm cool with it.
Oh, no. Oh, one of the clones is called Echo.
Echo, yeah. No, Dylan and you are just like,
There is theories that is why the base on Hoth is called Echo Base.
Ah. Well, I think we've spent well over 3 hours talking about that. I think it'd be a good time to call it here. I think we've all pretty much given our opinions, what we think. I think right now, like I said, I think it's...
episode 4?
I think it's a decent show. Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens
Yeah.
next.
You down for episode 4?
I'm so ready.
Cool, me too.
I'm going to start watching them like the day it comes out,
Yeah.
which I've not done for any shows.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for it. I mean, like I said, probably you and I aren't quite the target audience, but I like it.
Yeah, I think...
I'm
like
willing
I said, I think this is doing enough to
Well-
keep me interested.
Now, also, 3 sisters, so maybe we're just kind of like
Yeah, that's
exception
true.
to the rule type thing.
It's what you're used to watching.
Pretty
Even
much.
if you also have a
You
wife.
you don't even want to know how many times we've seen Dirty Dancing.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Oh my god. They would watch it 5, 6 times a day.
Don't worry. Dylan and I had to do that with Byron's like How to Train Your Dragon and the Young Avengers, or whenever he got into the Marvel superhero squad. We were just talking about that today.
You remember how I used to have like, Byron, no, we're not doing this again. Turn it off. We're watching something else.
He wouldn't even like put something in between. He would immediately restart it again.
Same movie. Yeah. No. Cool. All right. So I'm down. You're down.
Yep.
So at least, I mean, I wouldn't call it a 5 out of 5, but it at least piques the interest.
I rate how much I like a show based on what I enjoy out of it, even if it's good or bad. So I mean, as long as I enjoyed it and I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah, I enjoyed it enough to want more. So
Yes. So for Sky, Martin, this is Chris. Thanks for listening. You guys take care, and maybe I can leave you with 9 seconds of the yeahs if I can get it to go through here.
Off with your head. Dance till you're dead.